Nice. Good morning, everybody. That's Aaron Lewis of Stain doing Pearl Jam, actually, Black, with Aaron Lewis in the news with that national anthem yesterday and getting a bit of hate and all that shit. I decided, fuck, let's show the people what Aaron Lewis can do, man, when he just sits down with an acoustic guitar.
Oh, he has a voice like an angel.
Are you a fan or not so much?
I'm not a fan or a non-fan. I don't really listen to him. No,
I love his voice, and he has no problem doing covers when he goes out and does his solo thing. So there you have it. How are you, Jimmy?
I'm okay. Okay.
Uh-oh. What's going on? Everything all right?
No, not bad. Just another fucking... I watched the game last night, and I turned it on late when it was tied. You know,
Yeah.
I had a benefit for blind people to do yesterday.
Oh, how did that go?
It's terrific. I mean, they were looking... I almost said they were all looking the wrong way, but then I realized what a dumb joke that would have been.
What, was the audience blind?
No, a couple of them were,
Just
though.
a few, though?
And I showed up for an 8:30 show at 7 p.m. because I thought it was a fucking... I went on Gotham's website, and it said 7 o'clock, but that was for the... You know, you go downstairs, there's like a little VIP, like, you know, snacks and all that shit in an auction. So I walk in at 7 o'clock, and I'm homicidal because I had 90 minutes to kill on 23rd Street.
Right.
So I just went and got something to eat, and then went back and did the show, and it was rather delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, small crowd, but they were lovely.
Yeah, you don't like being early for anything.
Fucking 90 minutes early, dude.
You like to slide in just in time and get on that stage, do your thing, and get the hell out of there.
So I went home and wound up watching some of the game, and I couldn't sleep afterwards. That's why I wish I still didn't watch football, because it ruins my night.
Well, you know, your team is going to lose a few.
No, I know that, but it ruins it when it happens. I can't stand it, and I know it's going to happen when it happens. And like I told you last week when I went up I was out to dinner and I went out and I started looking at the bar for the game. I'm like, ah, sucker.
You're getting hooked again.
I had years away from this. Years away from it.
Well, you should follow the Jets. Then it makes it very easy. You don't have to look up at any TVs anytime soon.
Well, that's Jet fans. You guys really... Every one of you should just walk away from them. I don't know why. I mean, the Cowboys have stunk for a long time, but at least they've done some good shit.
They got a good year going. I mean, the Redskins beat them in overtime last night, if you're just waking up. A field goal?
2017, yeah.
Was it a field goal?
Yep.
And then in overtime, if the team that gets the ball first kicks a field goal, then the other team does get one shot,
Dallas
right?
got one, yeah. They went 4 downs, and they just couldn't get anything done.
Yeah.
But, Roman went out for a little while. He hurt his back.
He was out for most of the second half, I
guess,
heard
yeah.
on the way in today.
But that's not surprising. It's a division rivalry. Everyone had picked Dallas, but it's like, Dallas, no matter how good the Redskins were, the Cowboys would always win at RFK. It was just one of those things where,
right.
They're just division rivals. So
right.
That was my fucking fascinating night.
I was studying up on Mick Fleetwood and Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by this band now. I've always heard the stories over the years, but to really dig in and try to get ready for the interview, wow, what a fucked up band, man. You had 2 married couples, and Mick Fleetwood was married to someone outside the band, and then all their relationships break up, and they decide to stay together as a band, and then they write their greatest stuff ever, the Rumors LP, based on all the shit that was going on behind the scenes in their relationships. That ends up selling like 50 million copies, and then the band decides, we got to stay together for the music, even though they fucking hate each other, and that's what they did for many, 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 many years. And they were touring without talking to each other. They had separate cars that brought them to the gigs. They had separate green rooms. They on planes, when they had to be on the same plane, they made sure they sat as far away from each other as possible. There's anger in their faces when you see old clips of Fleetwood Mac performing, and that is based on the fact they just did not like each other whatsoever for a long, long time. I saw an interview, I think it was with Stevie Nicks, and she said that, I wrote it down actually, that there was no communication whatsoever for years. So not even a little bit. So how do you keep the band going under those circumstances?
Well, I don't understand how you collaborate creatively. Like, how the fuck do you come up with... I know he said when they were doing Rumors, it was really... They were also kind of splintered, that nobody wanted to show their song lyrics. Right. Like, they would all write their stuff and be very protective of it. So that's, I guess, how it was hard for them to collaborate. They didn't want to take out their shit, and because there were 2 couples writing about each other basically. But
it's one of the greatest LPs of all time as far as sales go.
Yeah.
So how do you do that if you're protecting your songs? That's what I want to ask Mick Fleetwood. Did they hand him into a third party that could just kind of control the situation?
No, they didn't. They just he was kind of like the daddy of the band. Just him and two couples who were quarreling.
Right.
Ugh. How fucking horrible is that?
And then he's quarreling with his wife. That's not part of the band. And then let's see,
who's George Harrison's? He was George Harrison's brother-in-law for a while. Right. Is that what their relationship
Yeah,
was?
exactly. Yeah, Mick Fleetwood's wife at the time was the sister of Patty Boyd, who was married to George Harrison and Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
So. I don't know. So the couples break up. Then Mick Fleetwood and Stevie Nicks start having an affair. Basically, it started, they were at a party and they were the last two left. So they were just kind of talking about relationships, this and that. And then they did some of that fucking. And then they had an affair. And then Mick Fleetwood breaks Stevie Nicks' heart to go out with Stevie Nicks' best friend, Sarah. So then fucking Stevie Nicks goes, oh, really? And writes a song, Sarah, that becomes a huge fucking song for the band. What a weird band.
Yeah, he talks about Stevie Nicks early, and there was some shit about, and I'm not even a Fleetwood Mac fan. That's the amazing thing about this. I'd never give a fuck about Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put this book down just to watch all this dysfunction and the fact that they were doing coke on stage in between songs.
Amazing.
The lights would dim and the road manager would come out with bottle caps of coke.
Amazing.
And he's such a proper English gentleman.
Right.
Like when you read the book, he's like, he uses words like tawdry and bawdy to describe their humor. We use really bawdy humor. Real proper Englishman, but he's doing fucking blowing between songs.
And they just said I guess Mick Fleetwood said that they did an ungodly amount of cocaine.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous amount, to the point Stevie Nicks has a hole in her nose. And she was told if one more line of cocaine could basically kill her, because it could break through more of the membrane and go right to her brain, and she would just die. So that's why I want to know.
Oh, the asshole blowing
is true.
Sure.
Because it is true that she did so much coke, she put a hole in her nose. And a doctor said they could fix that for her, and she's like, no, my voice has changed slightly, and I don't want to fuck with it, because I don't know what that's going to do to my voice if they plug up that hole. That's in my nasal cavity or whatever the fuck. I don't know where the hole goes.
I don't either.
When you're doing so much coke, where is the hole?
Is it between the two sinuses, or is it did maybe
further
it goes
back?
through the top?
I don't know. I kind of want to know.
You could tell early on, though, that they were probably going to wind up fucking. Because, again, I knew nothing about their history. And the way he talked about her, like, I felt like we knew each other in a previous life. Oh, boy.
right. That, girls love hearing that.
Oh, fucking right in. Just take your dick out when you say that.
I think Stevie Nicks said that Mick Fleetwood was the love of her life.
Oh, really?
I don't know, man. It seems like I was watching a lot of Stevie Nicks interviews last night. It seems like she might have a few issues.
He's got to be all cock. He's 6'6".
Right.
You have to. You're that tall. You got to be fucking all dick.
Yeah, he seems pretty confident. So
yeah,
we'll have a good time with Mick Fleetwood. That's for sure.
He's a dyslexic drummer, which I think is a very odd thing. Just reading about the dyslexia and how like everyone has a pattern. You know, drummers have these weird, but he does everything completely the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they said drummers have a hard time figuring out.
Yeah, he's definitely a good drummer. I like that Tusk.
Yeah, I just like it because it tortures my manager.
I really like that Tusk drum beat.
Yeah.
And the other fascinating thing about Mick Fleetwood, you know, the five that we know very well, which would be the McVies, Christy and John McVie, Mick Fleetwood, Stevie Nicks, and Lindsey Buckingham. That's the lineup most people absolutely know and love. But that's the 10th version of the lineup. They had 10 versions of this lineup in Fleetwood Mac. And the early years of Fleetwood Mac, it was a completely different band with this guy, Petey Green, who they say is the greatest blues musician ever in England. And he was the one you were talking about yesterday who just became a weirdo.
Who just didn't want... There was one thing where Mick Fleetwood said he saw him, and he goes, it was the first time I saw him in a long time, because he went, like, I guess he got locked up in a mental institution. This is years after he left the band, for pulling a fucking pistol on their road manager, demanding that he stop sending royalty checks. Like, Pete Green was getting these royalty checks, and he didn't want to cash them, so he fucking put a gun on the guy and said, "Don't send me these checks."
He just didn't like money.
He was what a psychopath.
And they said that he's another rock guy that went and did some acid and came back a different guy.
Yeah.
So, and then he told the band, "Look, I want to do this. I want to do this for charity. I don't want any of you guys taking money."
What kind of mental illness is that, though? Like, I get like hoarding money and being cheap and fucking hoarding, saving it. What is it that when you just give all your shit away and you're repelled by money? What the fuck is wrong with people?
I don't know.
An asshole.
Whatever happened to Petey Green?
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. I think he died young. He said, but I don't want to. I literally am probably about. 80% through, and I almost didn't want to look it up because I like to. Selfishly, I should have for the interview, though.
Right.
But I don't know.
We could ask him.
To him? Sam?
We could definitely ask him.
Yeah, he's probably dead. I think he died of a disease.
That's the other Petey Green.
Oh, not the watermelon eating guy, the radio guy.
Maybe it's just Pete Green.
Peter.
Or Peter Green, yeah. Yeah. Petey Green is, he's that crazy.
No, not this guy.
It's Pete Green, right?
Guitarist. Put Peter Green guitarist before I burn you with fucking hot coffee.
Or just put Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah. Yeah, put Pete Green, Fleetwood Mac, acid, left band money. Just Google that.
There you go. There he is. Whatever happened. He's still alive? Come on.
Oh, good. I'm actually glad to hear he's still alive.
67 years old, living in London.
Oh, good. I'm glad he's still alive. I was obsessed with what happened to him, and I just...
How's he paying his cable bill if he doesn't believe in money? The cable company's not going to listen to you.
You wonder if all of a sudden that mental illness gets cured. Do you look back and go, wait, where's my fucking money?
Right.
There's fucking 80 million coming to me.
Yeah, he should be a multimillionaire.
And another one of these fucking guys, he surrounded himself with selfish, unless he's just a gentleman and not telling everything, but like, I'm reading it and I'm like, maybe he's just making himself look better, but I'm like, what a bunch of selfish motherfuckers this guy was surrounded by.
Yeah.
The one guy left to join a cult, like before a gig.
Right.
He goes out in L.A. to go buy something, and he just doesn't show up, and then they cancel the show.
Yeah, he just leaves and joins the Children of God or
some
of
shitty Jesus cult.
What, some kind of cult. And then another guy left, too. There was a third band member that kind of went cuckoo or just left under weird circumstances.
Oh, that was after a violent episode.
I didn't write it down. I'm trying to remember. I think it was backstage. He locked himself in a bathroom or something. I got to go back and get that straight, but whatever. So it was fun. It was fun kind of just studying up on Fleetwood Mac last night. And then playing a few of their songs.
No, I was very weird to read about a group you don't care about at all. Like, and to kind of like, I knew the names, like a couple of those names, but I had no idea about any of their history.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of nice. Usually you know something going in, but I had no idea about any of the shit.
A lot of bands are dysfunctional, but this one might be the worst ever.
No, but I just like learning. And I just think that learning about this band was so much fun. To start from ground zero and just kind of build up my knowledge.
Stones dysfunctional, the Beatles dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Who else were we talking about recently? Oh, Aerosmith, Kiss, certainly.
Every band. It seems like every band is a fucking mess.
Well, Mick Fleetwood, he's the manager of the band for 10 years, and then they just fire him, and he's okay with that.
Yeah, they all got their individual managers, and he said he kind of understood, I guess.
I used to hang with one of the guys from Fleetwood Mac. He was a bum.
Oh, Stevie Nicks, you're on the phone.
Wait, maybe this is...
Pete Green?
Let me see.
I'm just yelling names. The first one bombed, the second one's going to.
Tony in Manhattan. Tony.
Yeah. It was a guy, Danny Carlin. He was in a band, one of the guitarists.
Oh, yeah.
And he lived in a homeless shelter across the street where we used to drink in London. And he used to come in every day for free drinks, you know.
And he was in the early days of Fleetwood Mac. Which one was he?
Danny Carlin.
Yeah. How did he leave the band? That's the third guy.
Did they fire him or did he leave?
He left. And you know what? It was a bit of both. I think maybe they fired him. But he was an absolute wacko. And his mother was getting all of his royalty checks. And she wouldn't let him have anything, you know?
Well, she was probably trying to protect his money a little bit until he figured his shit out. That's what that sounds like. Wow.
I mean, it was excited at first. We were like, wow, Fleetwood Mac died. But then, you know, he was like, you know what? He's here again. Let's go.
Right.
Did he die? Is he dead?
No, not that I know of.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, the early days of Fleetwood Mac, it's unrecognizable as far as what the band became. That's what I find strange as well. So, all right, thank you, Tony.
No problem.
All right, buddy. Hung out with one of the Fleetwood Mac guys who was a bum.
Yeah.
The early guys.
60 in the 60s. So many people got mad at me because I talked about acid yesterday.
Why?
Just saying that it can fuck you up. You don't know what you're talking about with acid, dude. Shut up.
We didn't really say we knew.
God.
I basically said I was just always scared of it. And one guy's like, look, I've been doing it for 20 years. If you want to do it, you should look me up. I'll give you a nice trip. I'm like, nah, I'm old with kids. No, I'm not going to do an acid thing.
You know what you're talking about before you talk about acid. Shut up.
But what do they hear out there?
I don't know.
We didn't say we were experts. We both said it's something that always scared us.
I'm a fucking comedian who dropped out of high school. I didn't claim to go to medical school.
Right. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it is safe. I don't know. But maybe if you got some weird mental shit kind of buried in your head, maybe the acid pulls it front and center.
It's like no matter what you say, people want to be disagreeable. Acid can fuck you up. I'm sure with most people it doesn't. It can, though.
Right.
You know what you're talking about. Shut up, asshole. God almighty. Fucking dicks.
Peter Green wrote Black Magic Woman?
Yeah.
Really?
And Santana had him at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction to play it, and Peter Green didn't want to do it. He's just a fucking...
He didn't want to do it?
No, he did it, but he didn't give him what he wanted because he's already played it.
Right.
Like when they were rehearsing, I think Mick Fleetwood, he said to Mick Fleetwood, like, why would I want to do that? I've already done it. He's just a fucking... Another nut. Another fucking mentally ill nut.
That you just have to deal with in your life.
Fucking ass.
Tom, so he wrote Black Magic Woman. Is there a version, his version out there?
Yeah, there is. It's on one of their earlier records.
Okay.
The other fascinating thing about that band is it's the first 3-guitar lineup.
Right.
Mm.
I did know that, yes.
Which is kind of cool. But they said that Peter Green went to a party in Germany, and when he came back from that, that's when he did all that acid. He did like a week of just acid. He came back, he was never the same.
Yeah, kind of like a Sid Barrett type of situation.
Yeah.
It seems a little similar to that.
No, but it wasn't the acid. You know what you're talking about.
Right. All right. All right. Thank you, Tom. All right. Let me hear this. Peter Green, Black Magic Woman. I think I knew this. All right. Peter Green used to be in Fleetwood Mac and lost his mind or something. And then the band said, well, see you later. We're gonna go and write rumors in a few years and forget all about you.
Exactly.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh, there it is. Carlos Santana, Peter Green, Black Magic Woman. Hold on. You really don't like this?
It's all right.
I like Santana,
but I just don't like.
I don't go deep in Santana, but some of the stuff I listen to.
I understand he's a good player and he's quite popular. God bless him. Enough with him already. What was his other big one? What was one of his big dumb songs?
Oi, come voir.
Ugh.
Maybe not. You don't like Oi, come voir?
No, I don't.
Jimmy, are you doing all right? You seem a little down lately. I don't think Jimmy's down lately.
Who's this?
Some guy just showing a little concern. Chris in Connecticut.
Oh, Chris, hello.
Hey, Jimmy. No, you know what? You've been talking a lot about how you've been like a little lonely and shit, and you're thinking about getting into a relationship, and this morning you sounded a little down. I don't know. I'm a little worried about you, buddy.
Oh, I'm okay, Chris. Thank you very much. I'm fine. Yeah, the relationship thing is just like, I'm at a point now where it's been a few years. There's certain things I miss about it. Like, it's not necessarily sex. That's pretty easy to find if you want that. But that stuff where you're just taking a flight with somebody and you're hanging out with them and going to the airport, like that little dumb shit you do in a
companionship.
As a couple. Yeah, and
you want to hold someone's hand.
Kind of, yeah. It's because you want to be. All my friends are married now, or have girlfriends. Fucking you, Sam and fucking Erock are married. Mm-hmm. You know,
that's supposed to mean.
Meaning you guys are younger than me and came up behind me.
They're not that young anymore.
Both nowhere near as good looking as I am. But no, and Bobby's got a baby, and thank God for fucking Carlin, and he's in a relationship. So
right.
Oh God, I know if Carlin has kids, I'm finished. He's the last holdout.
You think Carlin Quinn will have kids someday?
I don't know. I don't even know if he wants him, but he's the last. If he gets married or has kids, I'm just finished.
But it's not like we're all in our 30s. I mean, this is what kind of life does to you.
I kind of resigned myself to the fact that Colin was an aging queen. I just figured he was a gay guy who didn't know he was gay. He's got a real girlfriend.
That's what life does to you. Pretty much, you get to this age, most of the people that you're around are married with kids.
Florentine?
Right.
You know, just like...
It just happens.
Vinny Brand I've known since I started. He's always been married with kids. When you know guys and they're married with kids from the beginning, it's fine. But when you watch everyone you know...
Slowly but surely get married and have a kid or whatever.
Yeah. But so I kind of want to... it's not that I'm desperate for one, but I'm kind of like, holidays are coming up. It's kind of nice to have to buy shit for someone. But how many times can you come back from the gym and just sit there and go, all right, I'll watch Boardwalk Empire? Or I have a lot of time on my hands, and you realize, like, yeah, you can get bored having a lot of fucking time on your hands. I groom myself, obviously, and obsessed with my own physical presence.
Yeah, that's why you didn't go to breakfast with me and Bob Saget yesterday.
Yeah.
The gym was more important than having some breakfast with Mr. Saget.
Yes.
Well, why wouldn't you use that opportunity to like push your gym appointment back, and then you could have some social time with friends? And
I
go
could
to
do
the
that.
Gym
You
after.
probably should have went to breakfast with us yesterday and try to
because
figure
it
out
would
the
have been
gym
too
thing.
last minute, honestly, and I would have had to do it too last minute. If I had remembered a few days before instead of the day before, I would have switched my appointment. But it's also, I'm so too tired to work out late in the afternoon, man. I'm fucking wiped out.
Yeah.
So if I just make myself go at 11, I just make myself go, or 11:50.
Oh, Pat in Atlanta, whole lot of minutes. Thank you, Chris. Let me go to Atlanta.
Thank you, Chris.
Pat, go ahead. Oh my God, go ahead.
Hey, Jimmy, I love you, buddy, but even Honey Boo Boo's mother has somebody.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. She really does.
Oh, and you know the story there, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
I kind of like her more now that I see that a good dickin' takes priority over everything for this woman.
And this guy, I guess, molested her daughter.
He went to jail for it.
He went
he
to
really?
jail for molesting Honey.
He was in
Honey
I didn't know it was
Boo Boo's
her. Ugh.
Honey Boo Boo's mother's other daughter, the one
Yes.
that had the kid, I think, on the show when I was still watching.
I don't know. I didn't watch the show, but the older daughter.
Yeah. Oh man, you're brutal, Pat. Yeah, but he's a sex offender, and they yanked that show quickly.
Is she actually back with this guy? What a fucking pig.
Apparently, she was because Honey Boo Boo has a different father, or she was seeing somebody else. While
Yeah,
she was,
there's a few different,
but
a couple different fathers in there at
She
least.
was cheating on him,
Right.
with the guy who I guess they say molested her other daughter.
You know how well he must. You know how well you have to fuck to molest someone's daughter, and then they wait for you after you go to prison for molesting their daughter. I'm sure the guy's a lousy guy, but man, he really knows how to lay some pipe. He really knows how to fuck a fat woman.
What show is that on? TLC?
Yeah.
So what? TLC yanks the show. How are they surprised by this? This is exactly what you assume is going on in that family.
Yeah,
just weird fucking redneck shit.
That's why Duck
Now I
Dynasty.
just made fun of all the rednecks. God damn it.
Pedophilia will get you yanked.
Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. But you know what I'm saying. Like, you see that family, you know some weird shit has to be going on.
Pedophilia
when the cameras are off.
will get you yanked. That will get you yanked.
Oh yeah.
Pedophilia is a rough one. No one wants to go near fucking kid touchers.
No.
That's why Duck Dynasty works, because it's fake rednecks. Like, it's fake white trash.
Oh, those guys are all multimillionaires.
Right. Like Honey Boo Boo is like real white trash.
So can you be a redneck and be a millionaire?
Of course.
Is the question.
I mean, you could take on
They
redneck
are.
characteristics.
But most rednecks are not millionaires?
No.
Okay.
And I mean, they've been rich for a long time, and they used to have jock haircuts and wear Letterman's jackets and
Oh,
stuff
did they?
like that. Yeah.
Do you know what I've been doing a lot lately? Having dinner with friends. I have. I've been having a lot of dinner with friends.
Is it nice?
It is nice, yeah. I have a lot of meals with my friends. Especially, I don't. Thank you for Chris's call, but I'm not looking at the ledge of a fucking.
You seem pretty happy lately,
Yeah.
actually.
I'm just kind of like, that'd
it's
be
something
fun.
you're thinking about, something that's, kind of eating at you a little bit, but I think in general you're pretty happy.
Yeah, you want to have that special someone. What do you want to do tonight? Oh, I don't know, a little din-din perhaps? All right, whatever you say. Do you feel like cooking? No, I don't.
You should be a single father. Just adopt a kid. Out of nowhere, just adopt
Jim
a kid.
had an Asian baby.
That you gotta just take on tour with you. Adopt like a 5 or 6 year
No,
old.
you know what? This is how I know I don't want that shit. Because I have a fucking low shelves that I had built, and they're like floating ones against the wall, and the kid would come over with his fucking dumb dickhead hands and knock my fucking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar basketball over, and I'd throw him out the window.
Jimmy's back.
Yeah.
Jimmy's back.
Yeah, that's the old
that's the other
Jim.
side of it. Just remember when you're feeling lonely in your apartment after having dinner with your friends,
You have your things.
Yes!
that you still have your things and they're in good shape. I don't have things anymore.
Yeah,
they're
but-
in boxes buried deep inside my house.
It's not-
and everything else is just put up way too high.
But when you're assessing your life, it's not crazy to say, okay, I'm going to prioritize having children above my collectibles.
No, it's not. Because I look at my stuff and I'm like, I like where I live. I like just sitting here watching TV on this great set. You know what I don't need? Oh, fuck, what's going to happen in fucking dumb hands hitting everything, all sticky. Stop touching my stuff with your sticky hands.
Oh,
you're touching my Sabbath picture.
Yeah, you're not ready.
Wipe your fucking hands, baby.
You're not ready.
I was so angry.
Does jelly come off of museum glass?
I I'm sure it does.
Oh, of course it does.
But it would be the thing is the little fuckers would knock you. I believe me, in The Shining, when he's like, and I picked him up and pulled his shoulder out, like that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
He'd knock over my signed ball. Be so angry.
Would you be mad if, I don't know, let's say you set up a T-ball in the living room and instead of using the real softball that it's made for, the kid finds another ball that's really hard and slams it dead center into your beautiful TV? Would that drive you insane?
I can't comprehend. You might as well say, would you be mad if a fucking pterodactyl flew into your living room? That would never happen. It would just never happen.
I was sad, but I knew it just kind of came with the territory. Everyone warned me you're going to lose at least one or two good things. Even if you try really hard to keep everything under control in your house.
Plus, you got to worry about shit hurting the kid. Like, it would suck if the baby came in and fell on my Abdul-Jabbar basketball and died. I'd be bummed out about the fucking ball, and you got to be sad the kid died. Like, there's two things.
Oh my God.
You got to get baby blood out of your possessions.
You could get higher shelves. That's one
I did think of that too, but now I got to have the fucking holes patched up. All that wall space. All I'd be looking at is, you know how many good signed things can go there?
You just have to put everything up high, that's all.
My signed Carlin picture.
And not set up T-ball in the living room.
Yeah.
Well,
that's me and Alan Alda. I don't want to move that. I want that front and center.
That's been there before you, kid.
Stop doing that. You're breaking everything.
It's a signed book.
Bad baby. Fucking punch him.
All right. Well, there you go. You woke up. You're good. You're good for a little longer.
I just want a girlfriend.
I see on the preview sheet you talked about Opie's creepy Halloween tweets. Mm-hmm. What's creepy about them?
There's costumes?
The old costumes?
Yeah.
That's on my Instagram, Opie Radio. That's a cheap plug, I understand. I thought you meant the other ones.
No.
That aren't Halloween related.
Just your tweets?
The Halloween costumes used to fucking rule back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
They just suck now. Everyone gets kind of they try to get outrageous with their costumes, but nothing like really impressive and scary. Ever.
What's the Oberman one with? Did his son do it, or did someone tweet it where they're doing a Ray Rice costume in blackface or whatever? And,
a lot of
these fucking scumbags. This is why you hate Gawker. Like, well, it's like, racist and misogynist. It's just the fucking big news story.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yeah, we do this every year.
Every year.
Every fucking year, whatever's in the news that's really outrageous, you make a Halloween costume about it.
Yeah.
So there will be a ton of Ebola costumes. There's going to be a ton of Ray Rice costumes this Friday. And you know what? You're going to see some ISIS shit, too. You're going to see some ISIS Halloween costumes.
We're mad at people's Halloween costumes? Like, the fuck's the matter with us? Who cares?
But they're just not being honest in the media because they know this has been going on forever, where you just go for the shock value and you go for the edge with your costume. That's all it is. What did Overman say about it? Yeah. Did he at least acknowledge that this has been going on forever?
He put the people who dress up as Ray Rice and his fiance on his worst person deal 2 nights ago.
And his own fiance? Oh, and his
Ray
fiance.
Rice's fiance, yeah.
Well,
is this worth playing?
Yeah, sure.
All right, yeah, let me see a little of this. I don't really watch Oberman.
Halloween costumes. Oh, like this one. Get it? He's wearing an AP jersey, he has a baby doll and a switch. On the other hand, he does not appear to be wearing blackface.
Oh, no.
This was from Reddit. He's got a Ray Rice uni, pads, a do-rag, a female doll to represent the napalm.
That's hilarious.
Blackface.
Fucking hilarious.
You're not you're just not. You're just.
He's a twat.
Thank you. I don't know what word I wanted to use there. I had so many.
The guy's a twat.
Look, that's just fucking funny. Comedy is based on some horrific shit.
Oh, no, you're a terrible racist if you do that. You're terrible misogynist.
This guy is not trying to be racist.
It's hilarious.
He's going for the fucking joke, an edgy, over-the-top joke.
By the way, I'm really fucking tired of the obsession about blackface. Enough already with and if you wear blackface on Halloween, all of a sudden you're a criminal.
Yeah.
Enough. We understand the fucking horrible history of blackface. We understand it was used to stop black performers from performing and white people. It's terrible. If you can't see the difference between that and a comedic thing in a Halloween costume, you're a fucking dummy.
It's two completely different things.
Yeah, enough already over the outrage over blackface.
I loved that me and you both laughed at the same time, and Oberman's trying to go with, look how outrageous this is. No, that's fucking funny. And you're going to see a million of these when you go to your Halloween party this weekend.
Just shut up about blackface. Fucking hell. God, enough already with it. Like, it's this crime against humanity. If in 2014 you put on blackface in a Halloween costume, how could he do it? I don't know, because we're not racists from the 50s who used it to keep people down. It's just a way to look like somebody in a Halloween costume.
There you go. Hit it.
Yes, blackface, the symbol of laughing at and marginalizing African Americans in this country since about 1800. I think he even did his own art. Of course, it could be worse. Here's Beautiful Mess on Instagram. She's wearing a Ray Rice uni while taking her kids to Brittany and Layla's Halloween party and helpfully explaining, quote, I was Ray Rice's battered wife, hence the black eye.
Right, that's funny.
Domestic violence is not funny. Hashtag, but my costume was.
Pause. Believe it or not, jokes about domestic violence can be funny. It doesn't mean you're supporting domestic violence. He doesn't understand that point.
This is why he's such a fucking hateable
different
guy.
Things.
Again, the black, and we haven't seen this clip, but right after it's been used to subjugate African Americans. We know that, you dumb motherfucker. That has nothing to do with doing it for a Halloween costume.
Domestic violence, not funny. Jokes about domestic violence can be funny. That's the basics of comedy right there.
I just hate Keith Olbermann.
Keep going.
Just fucking. He's a guy who wants to be an alpha, but he also wants to be a little nudge, and he complains like your girlfriend. That's what he does. It's like having a fucking 6'5" fat girlfriend. Well, it's been used against Africa. We know. If you're using blackface to legitimately humiliate that's a different thing. But sorry, Ray Rice beating his girlfriend was a big story. Every year in the news, people dress like Hitler for Halloween.
Right. All right, keep going.
An adult could just do it to a kid. This was posted by Daniel W. Parks. We don't know if he has anything to do with the youngster being taught that blackface and domestic violence are funny, but he tagged this greatest costume ever, so he's on the racist, violent side of this, too.
No, it's not.
But of course, just when you think you've seen it all, there's always one more circle of hell to visit. This photo, posted to Instagram by one Ritter Zach, or Zach Ritter, is of his own parents. They have gone, he has gone full blackface and wig and Ray Rice uniform.
Oh, my God.
And she has gone full blackface and added a black eye made out of makeup.
Oh, my God.
And the spawn of these mindless troglodytes added a caption.
Oh, no.
Complete with hashtags indicating he may have to be even dumber than Ma and Pa. So my mom and dad win the best Halloween costume ever. Hashtag, quote, hit a bitch, unquote.
Oh, my
hashtag,
God.
Quote, I'll take the elevator. Hashtag, quote, she was knocked up, now she's knocked out.
Oh, my God. How could they?
I'd suggest getting child services over there ASAP, but let's face it, these Ritter people, Zach included.
Oh, my God. How
I bet you they're really good parents, actually, Keith Olbermann. Ugh, he's the worst.
He's what a hateable fucking washwoman. He's a washwoman.
I think, if you want to have an open discussion about this, having a Ray Rice Halloween costume this Halloween is kind of hack, because so many people are doing it thinking they're going to be the only one. You know what I mean? But besides that, they dress up like that so they don't treat their kids right? Is that what you're trying to say? That's just bullshit. There's a difference there as well.
He had, obviously, Carlin would email him, and I didn't want to badmouth him with Kelly Carlin here, just because it wasn't about that. And again, it's not, who cares if I like him? It's, if he did something with Carlin, God bless him. But this is where, this type of shit is this is the ideals this guy holds. To me, where's the connection with George Carlin with this kind of fucking washwoman, fucking little bitch ideas about what's appropriate and what's funny? So I guess kids shouldn't dress like pirates, because pirates used to rape and pillage villages, and they used their swords to murder people, and they fought and they stole. So I guess no more pirate costumes if you want to be literal about Halloween. Oh, he's just a cunt, this guy.
But to make the connection that your parents do the Ray Rice Halloween costume thing, that means they're horrible parents is ridiculous. I personally wouldn't dress my kid up in these type of costumes, but I understand why other parents would. I completely get it.
You're not a racist if you decide to dress like Ray Rice. Because it's a giant news story.
Right.
I'm sorry you're not.
Right.
Any more than you're a fucking pirate.
Right.
Because you put a patch over your eye. No one thinks that you're actually going to go out and steal booty. Oh, no, he's stealing booty. I guess there we know the difference. But I guess if you dress up and you carry a fucking inflatable fuck doll on the floor, we don't know the difference. You're a racist. He's just he's a fat woman. I really wouldn't be surprised if he ever came out and goes, look, I'm a woman.
Yeah, the story here is that this is just what we do every Halloween. Whatever the hot fucking news story is, you make a Halloween costume about it. He should add that to the discussion at least.
Yeah, aren't you about time for a groveling Clinton apology? Shouldn't you be doing that? Shouldn't you be saying you're dreadfully sorry to the Clintons for something? We're dreadfully sorry to all African Americans for these.
When the OJ thing went down, I mean, that Halloween, oh my God, there were a lot of OJ costumes.
Sure.
It's a completely outrageous OJ costume.
People dress like tasteless stuff. Last year, what was the thing last year that people dressed like that? I don't even remember. There was something last year. Again, it was the blackface outrage. I'm fucking tired of it when it comes to Halloween costumes.
Every year it's something. I don't know.
No, I was going to say, this is what it was. Yeah, it was Trayvon last year.
Oh, Trayvon. Okay, yeah. Oh, how tasteless and terrible. Sorry, it's a big news story.
Right.
It's tasteless, sure it is, but that's kind of what the Halloween thing is. You dress up like horrible, tasteless shit.
Right. It's been going on for a long time. Let's get to the end of the Keith Olbermann clip.
What's that?
It's the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, Boston, exactly.
Oh, that girl got some shit for dressing up like a Boston Marathon victim. Brutal. Obviously brutal, but this has been going on for a long fucking time.
But just like a pirate, that's cool. Pirates are fine. Because all they did was, kill people and rob villages and set them on fire.
I wonder if Keith Olbermann did anything on Nick Cannon going whiteface.
Did Keith Olbermann do anything on Nick Cannon putting out a record with whiteface? Didn't he put out a record with whiteface?
Yeah, and stereotypical, speech.
No, he's going to say, no, because that was not used to subjugate white people since the 1800s. Like, there'll always be a reason why a guy like this will criticize some people but not other people.
And I don't give a fuck that Nick Cannon put whiteface on. Who gives a fuck? All right, let's get to the end of this.
Zombies now. As Zach explained on Twitter, this is Halloween. I'm pretty sure it's called dressing up. It's all a joke.
There you go.
Your parents are the joke. You know what to get them for Christmas? Coupons for psychiatric help. I could go on, but I'll defer to Janae Palmer Rice on this, who tweeted, "It's sad that my suffering amuses others." Never thought about her, did you, geniuses? The fact that you're trying to get a like
it's interesting what's not sad, though, is that's kind of sad, but it's not sad the way the fucking him and the other cunts in the press milked this story and fucking couldn't get enough coverage of it. How come that wasn't sad? You didn't respect her privacy. You couldn't talk about it enough.
Right. Because you knew it was hot.
Yeah. He's the worst.
He really is the worst. Keith
Using
Olbermann
domestic
stinks.
violence, which still happens in part because morons like you still laugh at it, that you were okay with, and the blackface part, you never thought about dressing up and proudly posting your insults and how they could ever get back to the victim herself. Great. Next year, why not go as Nicole Brown Simpson?
Why not?
Adrian Peterson and Ray Ryan.
They did that already.
Yeah.
And you know that.
Why not? It's a great idea. That's a great idea.
They did that already.
Oh, God.
What is he talking about?
So fucking happy. He got fucking shit canned from MSNBC.
I think he's making believe this is the first year this has happened with these tasteless, outrageous Halloween costumes.
Again, he's not a guy. He's not a guy.
Right.
You wouldn't be surprised if he came out on a show and said he's a woman?
Not at all. It wouldn't shock me at all if he said, look, I'm going through a change. I wouldn't, if fucking Jeffrey Tambor's show inspired him to go, I am also a woman. That's why I've been saying these things. Because I act like your mom. He sounds like my fucking mom. He's just like a guy on a sports network.
I think you're insulting women a little bit because I think women even understand, a lot of them, especially the ones that listen to our show, get it. Get the difference between, this shit.
He sounds like a fucking washwoman.
Was that it?
That was it.
All right.
What a douche.
He's just hateable.
Yeah.
He's just so hateable.
Real Carlin-esque. Oh, they're terrible for making fun of the...
And he's not being honest.
No, he's a cunt.
He really isn't being honest about it. Speaking of Halloween costumes, it's stories like this that I know I will never officially grow up, because I read these things and my first thought is to just openly laugh. And I'm trying to find it. The fat girl costumes at Walmart.
Oh yeah, those are great.
I read that and I just started laughing out loud. Is that bad?
Well, I don't think that that's appropriate, because body shaming is something that we just can no longer engage in.
But you can't find the humor in that Walmart offense with website section for fat girl costumes.
I don't find the humor in that at all.
Despite growing complaints on Twitter, Walmart has yet to remove a section for fat girl costumes on its website.
Good for them.
The fat girl costume section isn't available through Walmart.com's navigation, but it's easily found through Google. Thus far, Walmart hasn't released any kind of statement. Update, it appears that Walmart removed the costume from that section around 11 a.m. Monday, but the URL still worked and displayed a message. We found 0 items for the fat girl costumes page. By 12:35 p.m., the page redirected to the plus size costumes section, although the fat girl costumes title still appears on Google.
But listen, why do they have to follow the story up every 90 minutes? Like, isn't that kind of the story? Like, oh, there's fat girl costumes, now there's not. 11:35 a.m., they're talking about the redirect link.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because they're just trying to keep the story going.
Fuck.
Yeah, they're just trying to keep it going.
Yeah.
Fat girl costumes. But it's okay to call them plus-size costumes? Well, isn't that pointing out that they're fat?
Fat girl costumes is saying these are the girls who... Were you dressing up like a fat girl, or the costume's fat girl?
No, it's for big fat girls.
You didn't know that? That's why I'm laughing.
I thought it was a costume to look like a fat girl.
Oh, no. It's like if you're a bit plump, then they got fat girl costumes for you. But then they change it.
I get why that would bug people.
I know, but it makes me laugh. And then, but then to change it up to plus size costumes, aren't you just pointing out the fact that they're bigger?
It's like midget or little person. Like, you couldn't write midget costume, but you could write little person costume.
All right.
They're costumes for little people.
Yeah. But that doesn't make sense to me, because you're still pointing out the fact that, you know, they're a bit on the short side.
A bit.
So whether it's midget or little person, what's the difference? For real, I don't know. Because what will happen, a few years will go by, and then they'll come out and say, we don't want to be called little person anymore. That'll be the word that bothers them, or the term that bothers them. That's just how it works, I think. They're okay with it at first because midget is so bad.
Right.
So they go, no, call us little person. And then a few years go by and they're like, no, we don't want to be called little person.
They'll want, here's what they'll want. They'll want the word person first. They'll say, or people first. Well, no, you no more little people, because then little is first. So call us people of a slighter stature. You know, it'll change to something with people first.
Of course it will. Point being, though, this headline just made me laugh. I know it would upset some ladies out there.
Fat ones, yeah. I'm sure
Oberman's just to have a fat girl.
Speaking of fat girls, I bet you Oberman's very bothered by that.
Fat girl costumes, like it's a choice when you're on the website. Oh, I'm a bit plump. I got to go to the fat girl costume section.
Yeah, he really should have. He should have included this one. He probably didn't know what childish costume to be outraged over first, like fat girls, or he went with the racial angle, like he did against when he was angry at Imus. Boy, this guy really is a white knight, literally. He really is a knight for black people. I hope black people appreciate white people like Keith Olbermann looking out for you. He's just he's just really a dynamite guy.
And that leads, I mean, like Sam talked about Opie's creepy Halloween tweets, but I mean, it's just costumes from the 1900s where they were way more impressive than what we got today. But what I really want to talk about is somebody on Twitter. I got to give him credit, but maybe later today.
Jim Norton.
It wasn't you, Jimmy. That's whatever. Those are just Halloween costumes from the 1900s, which are just fucking creepy. And that guy looks like he has blackface on, or that lady.
That guy, that one who looks like Dorothy, that's Keith Olbermann to me. It looks like a guy dressed like Dorothy. Yeah. That's who he is inside. That's what Keith Olbermann is inside. Go to Opie's thing. Look at the black and white costume. There's a white guy in the fucking thing. There's a black guy. The white woman with the little Tin Man hat is fucking Keith Olbermann internally.
Opie Radio on Instagram.
You're supposed to be the scarecrow.
You got an Instagram? I don't fuck
with Instagram. I have one and I use it once in a while.
I'm starting to like Instagram a little more lately.
Jim Norton's my name.
On the Instagram? Okay.
Don't wear it out.
Go to the other thing. This guy sent me a link. Back in the day, the Victorian era or something. When was the Victorian era?
Hey.
When was that? Late 1800s?
1800s, I think. 1700s.
Taking pictures in the let's call it the late 1800s, I don't know, somewhere around there. Taking photographs were extremely expensive. And you would have a relative die, and they wanted to remember the relative, so they would spend the money to take a picture of the relative dead. It was a huge business for a while. So I got one picture so far on my Instagram.
How much was it?
They said it was ridiculously expensive, but they were willing to pay it just so they have a memory of their relative that, passed.
Why not just take one when people are alive and use that?
Because I guess the
whole fucking family.
I guess they assume you're going to live, for a long time, and we'll get to it eventually. But the one I posted, it looks like they're twin brothers, and one is dead. And
is that why that's creepy? He's dead?
Yes, the one on the right is dead.
Oh, I saw that. I thought he was sleeping.
No, man. Sam.
Wow.
You got to find the link that the guy sent.
Wait a minute. Are you sure that guy? Who knows if that's really true?
No, because there was a whole article that this guy sent me, and they explained why they did it, and they also showed pictures of propping up the dead people to make them look relatively alive still. I'm trying to find...
He's just taking a nap. I think he meant in a coffin.
See. Huh? No, they dressed him up to look like his twin brother.
Well, they're both dead now.
And the one... that's what I was thinking.
That guy's dead.
And the one on the right is dead in that photograph.
And the other one's dead now, too. They're both dead. Death all over. We're being surrounded by death.
Incredible observation.
Thank you. That's why I do this for a living.
I'll find the link. It'll take me a second here.
Isn't that the outfit that Jim wore when he accepted his Sweetest Boy award?
Yes, it is. I wore knickers and I wore a little tie and a little hat. It was very sweet. Yes, it is. It's like an English schoolboy.
And your bow tie.
Yes, I do.
Hold on,
my shirt.
Everybody.
Why, thank you.
Hold on.
With your lolly?
Yes, I had a lolly.
Okay.
Very cute.
Very
cute boy.
Go to littlethings.com.
Your cock, Sam. Take your cock out. Swim walk.
J_Ryan on Twitter. He gets the credit. He sent this to me. So go follow him as a courtesy of, giving some material to the show. Littlethings.com, and then go to slash people. What the fuck? Can you find it on your own? It's hard to find. All right, people people in the 1800s did this with dead bodies.
One word?
No, it's got all the slashes.
Google it.
Stuff.
Just Google it.
Not slashes, but
just
dashes.
Google it.
Underscores?
No.
Dashes.
Dashes, I said.
Dashes. You're putting underscores?
In...
Doesn't this website have a search?
They have to. Just search it.
Just search it.
Search it or I'm going to fucking bite your shoulder.
Just put people in... Oh, you don't... Oh, and you look how you spelled in the... No, because you didn't spell in the right. People in the 1800s. All right, let's see what that pops up.
Oh, boy.
Oh, forget it.
We have Gaffigan coming soon anyway.
Yeah, all right.
And we have Lenny Marcus and Mick Fleetwood.
We're going to find the link. We'll talk about it. But there's more pictures of the people, dead and propped up so their relatives can remember them. And they explain the process and why they did this. So, all right, it'll be something we do a little later on the show.
Anyone that thinks I'm creepy with my celebrity pictures, at least I never sat next to a fucking dead guy.
Really creepy. You know what, Sam? I'll tweet. I will tweet.
Are they wearing hats sitting on a little couch?
I don't know.
Nobody acknowledge him.
Talking about?
Nobody acknowledge him.
Don't do it.
I don't know. I'll find it after the break.
We were there.
Fine.
Yeah, that was the one we were just looking at.
I'll have the link on my Twitter. Another cheap plug, which I love. Opie Radio on Twitter. Jim Norton on Twitter. Jim Gaffigan next. He's got a new book called Food: A Love Story. We're going to talk to him. Also, Lenny Marcus. We love Lenny.
Yeah.
Lenny's done a lot of time before Jim Norton on the road.
Yeah, Lenny is a very, very funny stage. He just did Letterman again. He's a really, really good comic.
Really funny guy. We've wanted him on the show for a while, so he's coming on. I think it's his first time.
It is, yeah.
And then a little later on, Mick Fleetwood. So another busy show. Stay there. Got Jim Gaffigan outside the studio. And a little later on, Mick Fleetwood. So he just walked down.
Oh,
the
is he
hall.
here? Okay.
Yeah, he just arrived. Near, and then we got Mick Fleetwood a little later on.
Perfect timing.
You got a book, Jim. You got a book, and Mick Fleetwood has a book.
Same thing.
Good luck to that. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Food, a love story.
It is a love story, right?
I don't know because I haven't started reading it yet.
This your second one?
Second book. My last book.
Your last book?
Yeah, I mean, how many? You've done two, right?
Two, yeah.
You should write about your life.
Why didn't you write a third one, Jeff?
I don't. You run out of steam. You just fucking run out of steam.
You're like, oh, that's right. I make a nickel a page, and no one reads books.
It's hard now because everything. The fucking bookstores are like. I walk through the Time Warner building and where the Borders used to be.
Yeah,
it's now a papyrus store. There's nowhere to sell them anymore.
It's all like headphones. But after the first book, you're like excited. You're like, maybe I am an author.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, I'm never doing this.
You start thinking of novel ideas and things you could write that will translate to screenplays, and you're like, nope.
But you could write about your life, Jim Gaffigan.
I could. But you know what?
That could be a third book.
I did like this book tour and I'm doing shows this week, and it's fun, but I just, I like stand-up. That's, it all goes back to that, right?
It was the first one, Dad is Fat, and Keith Robinson. That's how good that book was. Keith Robinson actually told me he was reading it. And that fucking dummy doesn't read anything.
No.
But he actually bought it in an airport and read it and said it was really funny.
What was the gist of the book?
Dad is Fat?
Yeah, because
that was about, being a comedian and ending up, being a comedian and ending up married is weird enough, but then I had 5 kids, so... Right. That's what that was about. And then this one's just about
5 kids.
Gluttony.
What ages?
I don't know. I have a medal. 10, 8, 5, 3, and 2.
Did you want 5?
I don't know if I wanted anything. I mean, I wanted to I wanted to do stand-up on Letterman. That's what I wanted. All the rest of this is kind of gravy, but... I mean, there's not like one kid that I'd turn in and go, you know what, can we give this one back?
Was that your goal, Letterman? Like I've heard someone else said that too. Like I think Lenny Marcus actually said the same thing. Like just doing it a set on Letterman was like a real pinnacle.
Yeah, that was like the validation. That's back before stand-up shifted so much, but back then, we were like these show people,
right?
Where if you did Letterman, you were less crazy. It was kind of the equivalent of saying, I'm an actor, and they're like, where do you wait tables?
Right. Was it everything you thought it was when you finally did Letterman?
I mean, it was great, but it was also strange in that I was like, all right, well, I think I naively thought, well, there's a conveyor belt that brings you into a room and then they just give you money and you get a house and a TV show. And, I don't know,
what year did you do it?
What year did I do Letterman?
For the first time, yeah.
I think it was like 99 or 2000.
Yeah, there's a reason I asked that, because I know where you're going with this, with Johnny Carson. You know, when you guys went on Johnny Carson, the next day you were household names and everything, and you were given everything.
Yeah.
All the older guys say that.
It's true, but you look at Letterman like it was Carson, like 1974, 1973.
No, I know. So 99, it definitely was a little different. I mean, it pumped up your status, certainly.
But I think stand up, I mean, I don't know if Jim feels this way, but there's all these mythical things that once you get there, you're like, oh, this is, I love the Montreal Festival, but like when you're starting off, or when we were starting off, it was like the Montreal Comedy Festival. You're like, you go there and you'll meet the Pope. It was, and then you get there and you're like, oh, well, this is just another comedy venue. And now there's more festivals than anything.
Mm-hmm. Every time you hit one of those things that you like, those things that you mark for yourself in the beginning, that validates me as a comedian. And then once you hit, they'd be like, oh, I'm still worthless. Nothing has changed.
Yeah. Well, I remember I did like some really crappy indie movie, and someone said, so are you still going to do stand-up? And I remember thinking, that's amazing, because that is the logic. Like, if you get an acting job, I guess maybe some people stopped doing stand-up.
A lot of guys did.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Michael Keaton, I guess, was one who went on to a successful career, and there's some other ones we have no examples prepared. But
Steve Martin, right?
Yeah, but he just got tired of Eddie Murphy.
He was a huge stand-up and decided, I'd rather do movies.
Late Show Friday, he says.
But I think Steve Martin had the musical outlet. I think comedians, they need that heroin fix of the live performance.
Are you sick of the road, though?
No, absolutely.
Are you sick of the road after all these years?
I go through phases where I've got 5 kids. So, like, I flew to Australia and people were like, oh my gosh, an 18-hour flight. And I was like, that was heaven.
Right.
I was just sitting there, sleeping and watching movies. It was a vacation.
Do you ever have that guilt while you're on an 18-hour flight knowing all hell is breaking loose at home and your mom's got to, your wife's got to deal with it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I feel guilt and I'm, like the first day away is always like a vacation and then it's just guilt.
How long can you be gone before you're like, all right, I gotta get back?
Yeah, I can only do
day and a half,
4 or 5 days.
Wow, good for you.
It's just
like I went to the Montreal Comedy Fest and I'm in this beautiful hotel room and oh my God, peace and quiet and you're loving it. And then the guilt because you know what's going on at home. You're like, oh fuck, I gotta get home.
Yeah, it's too overwhelming because and there's people in the military that have no option. It's like you're going to Afghanistan. How many months into your tour?
Right.
So we're lucky.
How was Australia?
It was great. I mean, have you performed down there?
No, I want to, though. It's one place I really want to go.
It's great. It's like they really like Americans. Like they like Israel, they really like Americans, and Australia, like they like Americans so much where it almost makes you question their judgment.
Right.
But I would definitely recommend
They say we have a small fan base there. I don't know.
Yeah, I would like to check it out.
People keep telling me and they tweet me like, no, really, there's more people than you think listening down here.
I think radio is huge there and morning television. Like they don't have a late night show. They don't have a Letterman.
They had Rove McManus, who was kind of like the Leno Letterman of that.
Why would someone grab that and go with it?
I don't. It's like they don't even have cable, a presence of cable. Like people are like in Australia, I'm like, do you have cable? And they're like, yeah, well, that's like $60 a month. And I'm like, gosh, Americans, we just consume so much. We have, cable and Netflix.
We're pushing to $100 a month now for cable, and basically.
Yeah. And down there, they're like, no. But I think there's like 4 or 5 million people down there.
Right.
Like I always think that it's another 300 million. But like it's weird because there's like Arj Barker is the king of Australia.
Eddie Ifft is pretty big down there too.
Eddie's big down there. So it's weird. Like when you fly down there, they have comedy specials, and Arj's was one of them.
Mm.
And
is he still there?
I don't know. I
want a fucking Australian girl. That's what I would like to do. Maybe I'll get a girl from Australia and bring her back. I'm kind of like in a relationship fucking hiatus for 3 years, so I kind of want to maybe go to Australia and bring one back.
Grab a girl.
We want to get them.
They all look like Naomi Watts, right?
Yeah, there's some hot ones, right? In Australia.
I mean, what I saw, yeah. But I mean, I was there for 4 days.
We're trying to get Jimmy on 90 Day Fiancé.
90 Day Fiancé, is that a show?
Oh, it's wonderful. You got to check it out.
That's like the evolution of America.
You go somewhere and you bring a girl back to the States and you got 90 days to get married.
It's a visa.
What is it called?
A K1 visa.
K1 visa.
K9, depending on the girl.
And so
there's a few K9s.
So they go and they pick a woman.
They don't really. I mean, they say they happen to be.
So where do they
in
go?
Colombia, let's say, on business, and they fall in love a little bit, and then maybe they keep in touch through Skype a little bit, and then maybe he goes back one more time, and then he's like, "Oh man, I want to marry you." So she comes to the States, or he comes to the States, and then they have to figure it out in 90 days. And there's a whole show based on it. It's great. It's great.
Wow.
Because you could see some of these people just want to be in America so bad. There's a Muslim on season 2.
Oh, right.
He wants to just be in America so bad. It's obvious. And the woman
What's his fiance like?
Brutal looking.
Yeah, like Linda Tripp.
Linda Tripp might be better looking. Brutal. And his first move, as soon as he got to the States, is like, hey, I found religion. We're not going to have sex until we get married.
Oh, that's
a good way to not have sex. Plus, they want to make sure that you're not just banging them and throwing them back out to the world.
So
it's amazing, like, when you stay in hotels, because, you used to, you watch your shows, like you record stuff, right? But when you're in hotels, you don't have DVR or on demand. And there's just like shows, like that show sounds interesting. But there are shows on television that are insane. I mean, this isn't even a bit. It's just like there's like cat nightmares. Like there's shows that are just people with problem cats. It's just insane.
What about the metal detector show?
It's
the whole show where guys
There's
are trying to
also
find shit with a metal
tank.
detector.
There's like people
Yes.
that build
Yeah.
fish tanks.
I kind of like Fish Tank.
Really?
A little bit. My guilty pleasure is the Treehouse show.
They're what? They build treehouse.
I love the Treehouse show. What a delight.
My dream, and I'm not even kidding.
How do you
my,
stumble upon that? Or are you sitting there searching treehouse?
No, I didn't search it. It just when I was flipping around one day. But basically, my wife rolls her eyes because I want a house in the suburbs, and I want to hire these guys from the Treehouse show. I don't care if they're going to be ridiculously expensive, and I want them to build me a treehouse. It's a treehouse where you have your cable TV and you have a little
It's like
a
the
little
man
kitchen
cave in the air.
Yeah.
Hornet's nest.
And you climb up your little ladder and you could have peace and quiet away from your family for a couple hours. You could sleep there.
But why does it have to be in a tree?
I don't know.
What about the basement? I mean, I'm just more convenient.
Because I make fun of people that have man caves.
Well, tree forts.
I kind of make fun of that, but
we'd make fun of you for a tree fort.
I know.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
I know. That's
What's
why
more childish, a man cave or a tree fort? Is there going to be a bike ramp too?
But they put windows in and everything.
They put windows in.
You could get heat.
Is there a club membership? Special handshake? You can't come in unless you're a boy.
But you tell me you have a man cave, I'll beat the shit out of you. But I don't have
a man cave.
I want a tree fort / treehouse.
You know, the weird thing about man caves is like I've never seen a man cave where you're like, oh, that's not sad. Like they're all pretty sad, the man caves. It's like, here's where I go where I'm not yelled at.
Well, especially they do have the signs like no women allowed or
it's
whatever.
Like an ugly leather couch that like strip joints would pass on.
Right.
You know, it's like, look, we have a little standard.
Yeah, just you and your emasculated friends watching football. It's really a
I like
place.
hanging out with my wife, but I do want to maybe have a treehouse where I take a nap every once in a while. That's
but then your kids would want to be in the treehouse.
Of course.
I know.
How do you tell children you can't go in the tree fort?
I got to figure that part out. Maybe I give them a separate tree.
Well, you could do something. You get the treehouse people in here.
Yeah.
And you give them some pre-publicity, then you get a free.
But I live in the city. I can't build outside my
building. You buy a
building.
house, you have them buy you a house, and then you get the free
Maybe
treehouse.
I could just buy a tree house in the middle of the woods.
What about
buy a little land
How great
somewhere?
would that be?
Central Park, go in there. De Blasio's going to have to deal with it. As long as you have low-income entrants, you can build a treehouse in Central Park.
I know. It's kind of whatever, but that's my thing. And the show is great. That one is great.
Really? What channel is that on?
I don't.
Learning Channel 3?
Yeah. It's one of those where you just come upon it. I don't even know. I mean, I also like Wicked Tuna.
Wicked Tuna? I haven't seen that one.
Where they go out and they
Storage Wars. I love Storage Wars.
Storage Wars?
Because they're going to find some stuff.
Eventually.
Yeah, it's not fake at all. That's what I like.
Yeah.
They're not planting diamonds in there. But they do plant, right? They plant
I've heard
stuff.
they do, yeah.
Dishonest Storage Wars. How dare you?
I like honesty in my reality.
Yeah, but most of them do suck because they're all set up and, scripted and all that crap. But I don't know.
So like those guys.
I like Real Estate in Alaska.
Real Estate in Alaska?
Or something like that, where they have these people that obviously want to be far away from society, so you wonder what the fuck they're all about, and they're trying to find out their dream home in Alaska.
Well, I guess that's weird.
That one's kind of cool.
And
they have views of mountains and pristine lakes, and
it's just
and they warn them about the bears and stuff.
Like those guys pickers, like those guys that
American pickers.
Yeah, they pick through junk and stuff like that. How much are they getting paid? Because eventually they're like, we're making so much money, we don't have to pick through junk, right?
Of course.
I would think it would reach.
Well, they have to keep the show going, though, so they do have to still, kind of dig through basements and attics and stuff.
It all started with the Antique Roadshow, right?
I don't know what the first was. That the first one?
I don't. Maybe
the Antique Junk.
But that's kind of that one seems legit. Where real people go in and just kind of, hey, I got this shit. Is it worth anything?
That was addicting on a lazy Sunday
and then there
afternoon
was
or whatever.
The really smart guys like, well, this is actually worth $4,000 if it had this sticker, but it doesn't have this sticker, so it's worth $2.
They fuck you over.
It's like, yeah, she would be very attractive if she wasn't 30 pounds overweight. Well, that's what we got.
If you took care of this, they always beat them up for not taking care of something from the 1800s.
If this bicycle had its original seat.
Right.
You're like, well, why? We found it in a junkyard.
Yeah.
You do any signs?
I did all these shows. I don't know if you did this. I did a show, because I did a book tour with the last one, and then people were like, he's not doing stand-up. And so now I did shows and then I'm signing books afterwards, which is really exhausting.
But how did you get, like, to do that, you got to get a dealer to kind of bring the books in so they count towards the bestseller list. Well, I was going to do that, and we had to get, we did it on the Virus Tour.
Yeah.
And we would have book companies come in and bring their, the books, so it wasn't
But then
just me.
the problem is also then the ticket price is higher, and people are like, what the hell? And then with the surcharge from Ticketmaster.
Why is it higher?
Because you have to add in the cost of the book.
Oh, you're putting the book in the...
So I'm doing a full stand-up show.
Okay.
That is kind of smart,
Very
though.
smart.
It sounds, it's exhausting, but that's a pretty
But it's
unique
really
idea.
and then you sign afterwards.
Right.
But the rooms he does, too. You're fucking probably pushing like 2,000 or 3,000 books a night. That's amazing.
Are you?
Well, in some cities, yeah.
Good for you,
Yeah,
Jim
sells a lot.
Gaffigan.
It's tremendously...
So they buy the ticket and the
get a book.
and there's 2,000 people at... Wow.
How long are your signings at the end?
Hour and a half. I mean, I used to do that. I just can't do that anymore. It's just too hard.
That's not even that bad. An hour and a half, just what do you just plow through the line, no pictures, no...
Nothing posed.
Don't say it's too hard. There are people going to really bad jobs right
That's
now.
a really good point.
Okay.
Look, I mixed cement in a steel mill one summer. That was hard. Next to a big boiler. It was like 95 degrees. It was like literally blisters on my arm from standing near it.
I can't understand what you're saying, but be careful.
No,
how you say it.
that's a
Gaffigan's right. It is hard. Yeah, I know these wounded warriors have their stories. Would you ever have to sit there for 90 minutes
You know
and
what?
thank people?
That's where it's like, that's where you guys have experience, on the radio. I'm just like, and then I had to eat a filet, and I wanted a New York strip, and it was so hard. And they didn't have the crumbly blue cheese. They just had chunks of it. So I had to chip away at the blue cheese. It was hard.
Maybe get a stamp. Go the way of the stamp.
You can go to jail if you do that, I think.
What do you mean?
Why?
If you forge your signature,
I don't know.
I think that's illegal. I think you can go to jail.
Who was in here?
On a legal document, maybe, not on a book.
I think on a book. Someone told me that if you...
The Norman Lear's going to jail. He was in here recently, and he's at the stamp stage.
Yeah, you have to sometimes when if your arm is tired or whatever, you gotta fucking just boom.
92 years old, Jim Gaffigan.
92 years old, that's nothing. I
Absolutely.
could do that.
Yeah, and you will.
I'm joking. He's 92 and he's doing morning radio.
Sharp
What is
as a-
wrong with him?
He messed up.
Isn't he worth $1 billion?
Yeah.
His
But
book.
he's all about freedom, right?
His book was great, according to Jim Norton. I haven't checked it out yet. I got a pile of books.
Well, we had a nice 45-minute interview, and then he goes, "All right, thanks, Ed." I was like, "Oh,
That's the one thing he fucks up, basically. His name.
You're
Everything
like,
else
you know
is
what? I've
sharp
got a
as a tack.
relationship with Norman Lee.
Yeah.
He's my friend. Thanks, Ed.
right back."
He signed the book, Ed. Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, thanks. You're Ed. You signed Ed.
Let me ask you this. So, the world of books, I mean, I'm just kind of new to it, and I know that, Jim, you had those big books and all that, but, like, were you guys always getting books for, like, the past 15, 20 years? So do you just have, like, tons of books? Anyone who has a book comes in here, right?
I throw them away after I read them. I can't save books. Or
save
I
all
give
of
them to listeners or something, or someone.
Yeah. What do you do
can't
with them,
save
Jim?
stuff
Save
like
'em.
that.
He sells them. He sells them.
Yeah, you want a Dear Jim book signed by fucking
why
Scott
do you-
Ian?
Thanks, Ed.
Why do you
Is
save
your
them,
name
though?
Ed? What's that?
I don't understand why you would save them.
Usually they're signed. Usually because they're signed. If it's signed, they
Oh, if it's
save it.
signed, of course. But what about just a basic who gives a fuck book?
Nah, then there's
They're trophies.
Like Daryl Strawberry's book, who's...
Look, you're not dumb looking like us. We need someone to go, wow, look at these books. He
Oh, you
knows how
look
to
smart.
read.
No, I don't even display them in my apartment. There's no
Yeah.
room. I just keep it in a box in the basement. It's psychotic, really. It's worthless.
Because I moved around a lot in radio, I'm not a saver. Because I always had to get my shit in a car.
That's very zen-like. That's great.
But
Give it away.
He saves like charges and stuff for things that he'll never use again.
I
What do
say-
you mean, save
like-
chargers?
I like electronic stuff, and I eventually
Oh,
get rid
really?
of them, and then I finally need one. Like what did I need
Yeah, but
recently?
then you
Like one
just
of
go
those.
and get it for $10 somewhere.
I
He
know
still
that.
has his Palm Pilot.
I certainly do.
That's what I'm saying, that-
Stylus.
It's a Palm
Not saying
Pilot.
he's a hoarder, but that hoarding type thing drives me. That's another show that was a good one, by the way. But
Yeah.
that hoarding stuff drives me nuts. I'm like, oh, I can't do that.
I save this stuff. It is kind of stupid. Like if we've interviewed someone and we talked about their book, a lot of times I'll save the book if they've signed it, and
No,
I try
that's
to
not
read most
stupid.
of them, but I don't get through most.
So do you spend time reading every day?
Now it, dude. Like I started again. It was for a long time, man. With fucking phones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's so hard to.
We got 3 books to read because Andrew Dice Clay has a book and he's coming in here. So we got your book to read, which we didn't read in time for this interview.
There you go.
Mick Fleetwood, and now Andrew Dice Clay.
That's
And I got Billy Idol's book still I got to read, and Paul Williams. I'm reading his book.
How do you write? Do you sit there?
Crazy.
I can't just sit there and make myself write anymore. It's like, it's got to be, I have to be distracted slightly. Like at the Cellar, I could write, because otherwise I'm on my computer.
You can write at the Cellar?
Both my books are done at the Cellar because I'm such a pervert that when I'm online, I'm looking at bad stuff.
Right.
So at the Cellar, I couldn't do that.
You wrote in here, too.
Would I really write in here during the breaks?
Oh, God, yeah. Jimmy was writing his book in here.
But it can't be totally silent. I have to have like background noise, like in a diner or a Starbucks, where it's like, that mumble.
Yeah, I would do in a diner and stuff like that, but then I spent a lot of time like organizing. All right, I've organized this section. Now it's time for a nap.
Do you like to edit? I enjoy going back over and editing and refixing jokes.
It's fun, but there is something about when I did the audio version, when I was reading it, I was like, change that, I'd change that. So, there's, at least with stand-up, you can adjust.
Yeah.
You can go through a period where, like, a certain phrase works, and then as it evolves, you can use a different phrase, whereas with a book, it's set in stone.
How long does it take to read your book for an audio version?
I think that was like 6 or 7 hours.
You could read this whole thing?
Yeah. Why? Do people take longer?
Yeah, I did mine.
Why does it take a week to read a book? If you could read your book in 6 or 7 hours.
You probably could if you just sat there and read through it.
If you just sat there and,
for 6 straight hours.
Sure.
But aren't you just losing it by the end of it?
Yeah, no, I did it in 2 separate days.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Maybe I did it longer.
You know what frustrated me about the audio? I only did it for one of them.
Yeah.
And this was my mistake. It was like I let them dictate to me, okay, slow it down. So then I went down and got this. Like, I should have just done it more the way I wanted to. It's like I talk for a living. I had to fucking talk.
Yeah.
And I regretted doing it that way. I wish I had done it a little differently.
It's interesting. I did, I used the same guy for both books, and he was telling me that it's like Bill O'Reilly goes in, because he does like a book every year, like killing someone else, right?
Some historical murdered figure.
And Bill O'Reilly will just like read through and I go, all right, we're not doing that. Like he'll just skip things because he knows, he's like, I think he just knows from experience, having done so many books, that you're not going to read absolutely everything. He's like, all right, this graph is not important.
How do you make it funny if you're just reading the book? Because obviously this is going to be a funny book.
Well, that's some of why I think you break it into 2 days, because there is a fatigue that sets in. But I don't know. I mean,
it's different than doing stand-up. So how do you make a funny book sound funny when you're reading it to the...
I don't know. Hopefully I pulled that off. I think some people they bring in characters and they do a section that's live, and mine's just my point of view, so I just kind of...
Right. What is the book about? We haven't even really...
What, Food?
Yeah, Food, a Love Story, Jim Gaffigan's latest book.
It's weird. Like I was sitting there, I was getting ready this morning, and I was thinking of 20 years ago, Jim Norton and I were at Catch a Rising Star at, it was, God, I want to say it was a Coors Light comedy competition. Do you remember this?
It was Bud Light. Was it
Bud Light?
Did we get attached to Bud Light comedy competition?
I think it was Coors, because I got a raft. They gave me a blow-up raft for second place. And Zoe was one of the judges, and I remember Jeff Ross was the MC, and he was like, he came up to me and goes, Billy Crystal's never won a competition. It doesn't matter. And, but I remember that. So anyway, the reason I bring that up is that for 20 years, I've been writing about food. And so some of this is a compilation of stuff that ended up in my act, but a lot of it doesn't end up in your act. Or you do it like 3 times, and then you're like, well, I'm not going to have a section on crackers in my stand-up. So there's an essay on crackers, and I don't have any, but like there's like 20 pages on cheese. It's just me writing about cheese. And some of it is inspired by tweets and just notes. Do you keep track of notes over the years?
I save everything I've written. I used to write on the back of packing slips when I still worked a day job, like on the back of Fragile stickers. Yeah. I have everything saved, and I go back and look at it. Once in a while, I'll go through the old stuff and like, oh my God, how primitive it was. But it's fun to look through to have that record of what was important back then.
Yeah, and also what was some good stuff that we just didn't know how to deliver. You know what I mean? There's like good material where you're like, that was really funny. Right. I have like New York City specific stuff that, it's just, unless you live in the 20-mile radius of New York City, it's just worthless.
You're just not going to get it.
Books are fun though because you can meander a little bit more than you can. That's why I like radio. It's like you got to be funny, but you can also kind of go off. Like you'll be in one place, all of a sudden you'll fucking just digress into something.
Yeah.
And you got a better chapter because you went right or left instead of going the way you intended to go.
Yeah. And well, I do think it's interesting also how with stand up, it's like the shortest way there. At least for me, it's the shortest way there, and you use vocal inflection and facial expression. But in an essay, you got to set it up. You got to assume no one knows
anything,
who you are. Because, you know, you and I are kind of like these character-y type of guys. So we go on stage, and it's like the point of view of looking at us, it affects it. And so it's like with a book or an essay, you don't have that option.
Do you? I found with Siri now it helps a lot. Like talking notes into my fucking notepad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I hate the idea of writing. I'm just gotten so fucking physically lazy. Or I'll text myself, and I finally get a lot of shit done that way, so I don't lose information.
My wife does everything with the audio thing. Like, I'll be in the middle of a thing she's talking to me, and she'll be like, pick up some garbage bags. And I'll be like, why don't you? Oh, you're telling Siri? But I'm too incompetent to figure that out. But I gotta, you know, it's like coming up with new material. It's fun, but there's a certain, you know, it's like I'm on like the 5th hour, and I'm like, I've got, you know, it's like you go through stuff, and you know this, where you sit there and you go, well, that's an interesting idea. Or I was talking to Papa. Papa said, he's come up with a great joke, told his wife, and his wife goes, that was on your first special. And he's like, oh. It's just like, there's just a fatigue, right?
You all of a sudden find yourself saying, this is, and I've been very careful about this. I repeated a joke on Letterman. I was so mad at myself. I hate watching myself so much. I'm like, did I do this last time?
Yeah.
And I didn't need to do it.
Yeah.
And instead of going back and watching my old set, 'cause I hate watching myself, I just did it and then realized I had repeated. And he's like, oh, please, no one even noticed.
No one cares.
But it was like a lazy, stupid mistake on my part.
Right.
It's amazing. Those shows used to be so... I mean, it's like those shows were... I mean, that's when you felt like a comedian.
Yeah.
It's like you did that show. Anyway, it goes back to the beginning.
You're on that stage, though. You're doing the stage with all these great comics that did that, whether it was Pryor or Carlin or any of these historic figures, especially the Ed Sullivan Theater. It's like, it's important.
It sucks Letterman's leaving, too.
Yeah,
I've always liked him.
That makes, that, you know, like when I think of, that's going to be weird because, like, when you get, you know, like you're introduced as like being from this, but like when I'm doing spots around the city, I'm always I just say Conan and Letterman, and now it's like. It's not going to be relevant.
No.
It's just like, it might as well be, you know, open for Abe Lincoln. You know, it's just.
But when you're sitting in the crowd, I don't care what your credits are.
I know.
That's more for you guys because, you know, if you're funny, you're funny. It doesn't matter how they, you know, bring you on stage.
You're at a point where it's just Jim Gaffigan and they know who you are.
And Letterman has everything to do with New York since I was amazing. I don't even know how old I was.
We're 100 years old.
He started when I was not old.
Right.
I wasn't even close to old.
I remember his morning show.
All that shit.
And now Colbert, and then there's that guy who's taking over the late night show that I don't even know. No one's ever met the guy.
Who is it?
Who? The guy who's taking over for Ferguson. We were like, no one's ever met him. No.
What's his name?
He's, I mean, I'm joking.
I liked Ferguson, too.
He's a Broadway guy. Yeah.
Where's Ferguson going?
He's done at the end of the contract.
He's done it. And you know what? Doing that show is like a delight because it's like the pre-interview is like, don't do any material.
Oh,
so
good, good.
You're like, you just go out there and talk to the guy.
Why did Ferguson leave? Was he mad that he didn't get the bump up?
Yeah, I think that. And he's also produced by Letterman's company. So when Colbert takes over, it's not Worldwide Pants anymore. It's all back with CBS.
How do you think Colbert's going to do without doing his character? Because he said he's not really going to do his character.
It's going to be all niche anyway. So, like, the tastemakers and the NPR people are going to, like, drool over him. Right. So it doesn't matter.
Well, doesn't it matter that he...
But I think Ferguson actually... I don't know, but I think he's done with it because he's just done with it. He's like, rather than just stick around to do it,
right?
He kind of did it for 10 years. And
right.
I mean, I'm digging... It seems like it was yesterday. I remember Kilborn.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm digging John Oliver. On
yeah,
HBO.
That's amazing.
That is an amazing show.
He's amazing.
He's so likable too, right?
Yeah. It's amazing.
You watch John Oliver on HBO?
No, I watch
It's absolutely brilliant. And he's got a British accent.
Right.
Like, he's got a couple ticks against it.
Right.
Right? Because,
Yeah.
like, whenever I hear a British accent, I'm like, stop condescending.
Right.
You know?
No, you should check out Oliver. He talks about the week.
Oh, it's great. There's some great. You should YouTube some of his stuff.
Yeah,
it's really
I don't
He's
like
got an
anything.
energy. It's unbelievable.
It's
just
like,
goes.
but I like Jim's attitude. It's like, yeah, I need another thing.
No,
I need another
Jimmy
thing.
doesn't really like watching a lot of
I never watch
guys.
comedians. Never.
Yeah, he doesn't like watching
And I
guys.
love comics, but I just
Yeah,
I'd rather
not.
I don't want to know. I don't want to pick up material by accident. I just don't. I'm not interested. I'd rather watch Boardwalk. You know, I have my shit that I like.
Don't tell me. I didn't watch the last episode.
Yeah. Oh my God!
I just watch it for pure.
It's set in 1988. It's really weird.
But can't you watch stuff for just pure entertainment? Like John
Sure.
Oliver, I don't think I brought any of that stuff to the radio show. I just enjoy watching.
Yeah, no, he does. He does a different thing. It's
Yeah.
not gonna. It's he goes 15 steps beyond what anyone else would do. It's like, and here's the tax documents.
Well,
So
how he builds it, though.
Yeah.
Like, he'll start talking about something, and by the end of it, there's a full marching band on stage, and things falling from the ceiling. It's like, what the fuck?
I think Colbert's going to be
good.
They're going to love him. So
You made
it doesn't matter.
sorry, Jay, you made a good point about the tastemakers liking something. How have you gotten treated by? Because you're doing extremely well. Are they good to you, the critics, or those tastemakers?
I think I don't think that I'm kind of considered mainstream, which is like a sin, right? So I don't know if I'm I'm not mistreated. I don't really get any reviews or anything.
How are Colbert and Stewart not considered mainstream? They've interviewed Obama. Like, you can't be more mainstream than interviewing the President of the United States. I mean,
well, I think it's just, it's like playing to some of these popular. I mean, look, I like the fact that my audience has lesbians next to a born again Christian family. I like the
well, I'm sure God doesn't like it.
And Jesus told me to do that. Like, whenever anyone's like, why are you clean? I would say, because Jesus told me. That's why.
Oh, you mean material while you clean, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, but I don't know. It's like, I used to always say, like, I know I'll never be on the cover of Rolling Stone or in Rolling Stone. Yeah. But, I don't know. What is your take on it?
No, I mean, for me, they've never given me anything. So for you, I can see, like, you're a guy that I can't see why they wouldn't like you. I mean, you're very original and very funny, and you're not offensive, but you're original.
But there's nothing sexy about what I do. Like, if you read my set list, people would be like, oh my God. Like, it's like, storage units, steak. It's just very generic. Like, when you do those interviews, they're like, why don't you tell us some of the topics you discuss? I'm like, I'd rather not. I want people to go to the show. I'm overweight. I'm lazy. It's like the most generic topics
Tree
in the world. Yeah, tree forts. So, I mean, it's all good.
Hey, where are you at with this Ebola thing, being a New Yorker? You worried at all?
It's kind of I think it's more interesting because I've done a couple tweets about Ebola, and people are very sensitive.
Yes, they are.
There are people dying, and there are people dying, but it's like me joking around about it is not going to make more people die.
It doesn't mean you're not taking it seriously or whatever. But
I mean, I'm doing a benefit for Doctors Without Borders or whatever. What a great guy. But I don't know.
He's a great guy, but why couldn't he just stay in his apartment for just a few days?
Well,
he was wandering around New York pretty much high-fiving everybody. He couldn't wait to get out there. He did more with symptoms, with Ebola symptoms than the average New Yorker.
Yeah.
He went for a run on Riverside Park. He went bowling in Brooklyn. He took subways, Uber cars, went out to dinner. How much stuff did this guy do?
Well, there's also something. I think there's something about almost the arrogance of science. It's like, look, don't put us in quarantine, even though we're contagious. But I don't know all the facts, so I don't know what that. I think that nurse was dealing with she was like in a bubble or something outside of the hospital.
They showed her how they set her up in quarantine. It wasn't that bad. And we were talking about this before the show. Governor Christie just said, all right, just get her the fuck out of here. Because obviously she was like being me, and she had a lawyer behind her, and I think they were threatening some lawsuits. So Christie's like, all right, get her out of here then.
But there is something about this whole thing where it's like, come on, it is, it's like, well, maybe we shouldn't, we want to be politically correct. So everyone with Ebola, you're welcome to come in.
Right.
And there's part of me that's like, it's like you wouldn't let someone in. In Canada, they won't let someone in who has like, a felony.
Right.
As every comedian who's done the Montreal Comedy Festival, there's always like, he can't come, he was drunk driving.
Yeah.
But, so like the Ebola thing, I think there is some of the PC thing that's getting out of control.
But the problem is we're not really that educated in this country. So the nurse might know that there's a very low risk, but we don't know that yet. We're not educated enough to really understand this Ebola thing. And for that reason alone, she should have just relaxed and taken it.
But that doctor knew. That doctor was over there, and they took precautions, and he still has it. Yeah, the guy who just came back. And he did monitor himself, but, like, we're supposed to just take for granted that he's going to monitor himself exactly until symptoms are contagious. Who the fuck wants to take that chance?
But I think that's the arrogance of, like, look, he went to med school. Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Shut up. And I think there's, like, this larger thing in our culture of, like, they went to a good school. You're not allowed to say anything. You went to a shitty school. You didn't go to college.
You don't know.
There's a little bit of this momentum of, like, the college kids shitting on the townies that I feel like is coming in our culture, and it really bothers me. It's kind of like, look, you don't know.
We didn't shit on the townies at Geneseo. Yeah. The townies were the mixed brothers, and they beat the shit out of everybody.
Yeah, no, look, I'm from Indiana.
They were animals.
It's like people that come to my shows. I mean, the funny thing is, like, now I'm on this soapbox here. It's like there's people that are plumbers are making more money than people that have graduate degrees. It's like, why do you think you're better than a plumber? It's like that guy's making $300,000 a year. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great point, though. I didn't think of it that way. The arrogance of they went to a better school, they're more educated, they know, don't question. And it's like there's a common sense that goes, well, how the fuck do you know how contagious you are? You have it.
Yeah.
And you're right, that is an intellectual arrogance.
Probably turn out this nurse doesn't have it. Where's she now? In Massachusetts? Maine? Where is she at? Maine, I think.
Yeah, I don't want them to sit in a tube, or a bubble for 21 days.
But I think it comes with the job. If you're going over to Sierra Leone to, help out with the Ebola and you come back to America, you got to understand we're going to be a little nervous about the whole fucking thing.
I would think the CDC would be like, you can't do that.
Right.
You can't bring in, like, meat from another country.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well,
I know, I've tried.
But you have kids.
Yeah.
Aren't you responsible if one of your kids has a cold and there's a birthday
you can't
party?
Bring them to school.
Or you can't bring them to school or a birthday party. You just do the right thing. So, that's for that's for the cold. The common cold.
Yeah.
So why not have the same
Even if your
kind
kid
of...
has diarrhea.
Yeah. So why not have the same mindset?
I've had diarrhea for like 40 years.
Thus, food, a love story.
Right, food, a love story.
Do you eat healthy at all?
I'm gonna. You seem healthy. Jim, you've lost weight. You're thin.
Well, yeah, I'm working on it. I mean, but it's hard not to shove bad food in your face, man. It's so
especially
tasty.
when you travel, right?
I know. It's so good after a show. You go to 24-hour room service. Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it on the road. That's almost impossible.
Hard, right?
You really got to work at it to eat, healthy.
Well, you were a wrestler, though, so Jim's is a big dude, anyway. Like, you're a stocky, even if you were totally cut, you still a stocky guy.
If I could work out twice a day and still look fat. So there is a little bit of like, why bother? But, I don't know. I got 100 kids, so I don't want to die. I don't want
5 kids.
I don't want to screw them over. It's like, my dad chose a cheeseburger over my high school graduation.
No one has 5 kids anymore.
I know.
That's old school.
Even Mormons are like, you got to settle down.
I'm one of 7, and we weren't even close to the...
What number are you of 7?
Second.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Crazy.
But my neighborhood, 7 wasn't even on the chart, man.
I know.
We had 9, we had 11.
My wife's one of 9. I'm one of 6.
I think we had a family, I think it was 12 or 13. We weren't even close.
Those 13 families.
12 and 13.
Those were the really, like, you'd meet the mom and she'd be wearing like a lampshade and you're like, nice to meet you. She'd be like, I'm fertile.
That was the old Catholic thing, though.
Yeah.
They were too scared to really take precautions, so they had to figure out the rhythm method, and if their math sucked, they were fucking it all up.
Every kid,
my mom openly admitted that she didn't want to have 7 kids. She told us that.
She told the youngest.
Yes, she probably should have kept that to herself, but she basically said it was because of the Catholic religion that she had so many kids. She blames them.
My wife is, there might be more.
You might go more than... No.
My wife is that into it. And there's no goalie. And, we have a healthy life. So it's like...
Do you want more?
I'm not opposed to it. Wow. I mean, but here's the thing. It's like, what do I need? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to get any more sleep. I'm not, all I need is like a good cheeseburger every now and then. It's not like I need money for a boat. It's not like I need a boat or anything. I live in Manhattan. I get to do stand-up every night.
Manhattan with 5 kids. I got 2 in Manhattan. I think it's crazy.
How big is your apartment? You got like 3 or 4 bedroom?
We moved. Now we have like, I think it's like 4 or 5 bedroom. Oh. It's like a big loft that my wife
Gaffigan does well for himself.
You have to know to fucking have 5 kids in Manhattan unless you're going to be clamped.
Dad is found. We were in the 2-bedroom.
What's your number though? Like I would do 1 more kid. 3 feels nice for me.
It's interesting.
What's your number? 8, 9? When you finally go, all right, enough.
Look, it's like I'm already 100. But some of it is, my wife does 90% of the work, so I don't care really. And each of my kids, it's like the 4th kid was born on Father's Day. The 5th kid looks exactly like me. Like, do you have a kid with red hair or no?
No, very, very blonde.
Yeah. So it's like fun with each kid because they're all so different. Yeah. Now it sounds like I'm an advocate. You have to have more children.
When I was younger, I thought I would want 5 or 6. And then you get older. I'm an older father, too. And it's like, fuck that. But one more, really maybe. Hard. One more, maybe.
It's really, it's like.
One more, maybe.
I mean, I always think.
But it sounds like you're going to have a 6th. There's almost like no doubt.
I mean, I think there is also it's like, what do we have, like the guy, it's like, it's not like I could turn to my wife and say, we're having another one. It's like, it's up to her, she's the one going through all that stuff.
Right.
So I don't care.
All right.
Anyway, I'm a great guy.
I'm amazed at what a different life I lead than my friends.
I know. Well, that's what that first book was about, was that, it's like, I don't, I mean, I'm missing out on hanging out at the cellar, but, I'm a loner anyway.
I would say Jim taking his, 5 kids and wife and healthy life and, 3,000 person gigs is definitely living a great life.
Oh, of course.
Like, if that's.
But I'm crazy though. I mean, that's very flattering, but, people are always like, you're the normal comedian. And I'm like, I go on stage and make strangers laugh. There's nothing normal about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Were you a good wrestler?
I was pretty good. I beat the guy that was 3rd in state. And then I made love to him. I was all right. But, all wrestlers have issues with food, too.
Well, because why you have to keep a certain
14,
weight?
15, 16, losing 10 pounds over a weekend. It's like, that's a healthy thing.
How much could you cut? How much weight could you cut if you had to? Like when you were doing that?
I think I lost 12 pounds in a weekend, which is not a good idea.
What were you doing? They do like hot baths and shit like that?
You would work out in a plastic suit. I would dip. I would spit. You could.
What's
some of it.
What's dip and spit mean?
Dipping. It's like chewing tobacco. So you could. I mean, I don't even know how much. Wait,
what did the tobacco do?
It just prompted you to spit.
And that does what? That gets the fluid out of you?
Oh my God! So you
would just lose water weight. So you would weigh in, and then you would drink water.
Right.
But I don't even know if that made that much of a difference. Did it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're working out in a
Jim, you were there.
Suit.
You would know.
No, I know. But I was more of just a guy who liked the wrestlers and would applaud wildly on the sideline.
But getting to the point where you're spitting.
He'd be in a leotard just in case. If you need me, I'm here.
Put me in, coach.
I never heard that, though, spitting to just get just even a little
more
weight off.
Yeah.
Never heard that one.
You'd sleep in a rubber suit because you lose weight when you sleep.
Fuck that.
And
how would you sleep that way?
Do you feel dehydrated all the time?
Yeah, it was very unhealthy. Very unhealthy. Yeah. I mean, some people, that's the bulimia. A lot of, wrestlers do the bulimia. But God, that was 30 years ago.
Can you fall asleep immediately? Are you one of those guys that just can just put your head down and you're out, or are you fucking awful?
No, I mean, I'm pretty awful. I was wondering about that because you and I are doing this Attell benefit.
Are we? When?
I think it's Veterans Day. And it starts at 10:30, and I was like, "Ooh, 10:30." and I was thinking, Jim's got to get up early.
Oh, I didn't know that. What are we doing?
It's a Tell's benefit for veterans on Veterans Day.
When is Veterans Day?
When is that?
Do you want that
November 11th.
Yeah, that's soon.
The people that served our country, Opie.
Well, I know. I did know it was in November.
Is it November 11th? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm writing it down. It's Tell show. Thank you.
But I saw, yeah. So, you can just fall asleep immediately?
No, I'm horrible.
And you're not drinking coffee?
I just drank 2.
I drink maybe 8 glasses of coffee.
A day?
In glass. No, cups of coffee.
It's hard.
You don't drink coffee at all, do you?
I drink coffee.
You do?
Yeah, I drink 2 a day. But, I mean, if I drink coffee after, like, 1 o'clock, then that messes up my sleep. What the fuck is that about? I would love to drink coffee all day. I love coffee.
That's the thing. When you go to Australia, it's like it really messes up your sleep.
It fucks you up, right?
Yeah.
Well, we got to.
All right, you
we
go.
certainly
got
to take a break.
Nick Fleetwood coming in.
Mick Fleetwood's coming in, and
Lenny Marcus
for the
Lenny
first
Marcus,
time.
I love Lenny.
Yeah.
And Jim Gaffigan, and it's been a while. I'm
Thanks so much for
happy
having
to
me,
see
you
you
guys.
again.
Let's promote the book properly.
Yeah.
It's called Food, a Love Story. And they can just get it in any bookstore, or they just can
Any bookstore.
order it
Or
online.
if they're on Long Island, I'm doing a show on Thursday at Westbury, the rotating stage.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have to be animated.
Does it rotate? I've never done it without that curtain. It's got to be nice. So you can get one of Jim's books. Yeah, much better to go to a show and get a book than just go to a bookstore. Go to a fucking show and get it.
That rotating stage. Have you done that yet? It's a little weird, right?
It's just weird.
Because you don't know where the fuck you are on the stage.
It's very strange.
Like, what happened to the fat lady? Where is she now? She's behind me now? What?
It's really, you can get it so it's slow. I think it's better for musicians, but I don't know. I guess it's just everyone has a good seat that way.
Yeah, true. All right. We definitely have to take a break. Jim
Thanks, you
Gaffigan,
guys.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much. And we'll be back with Lenny Marcus in studio for the first time. Lenny Marcus.
Hello.
What's up, Lenny?
Hey, what's going on?
Well, we just peed next to Mick Fleetwood in the bathroom.
Yeah, he smelled good, didn't he? I always
Smelled
say
really good. It smelled a little musty. Well, you asked, so I'm telling you.
That's what you guys do? You pee next to the guy, and that's how you judge them?
It's kind of strange. All of a sudden, you'll just go in the bathroom, during the break, and then there's a massive fucking star just peeing right next to you. It's happened a few times.
So you give him a nod, like, hey, what's up?
I didn't nod at him.
I said hello.
Did you?
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, Mick.
I'm all right.
He's like 6'6".
Yeah,
Smelled
big dude.
good. Smelled, as Erock said, because he was in there too, a little musty, did you say?
Musky? You mean like in a good way,
Did you
Erock?
say
Musty.
I think he did say musty.
Dirty?
Yeah. No, just like maybe he was engaging in some activities.
Oh, I'm smelling
What?
his
Yeah.
cologne.
What do you
Like he
think?
was fucking, you mean?
No. Like maybe enjoying some marijuana.
Well, it's pot. That's not musty.
Must is like
That's
old man
That's a
smell.
terrible
Musty's like dusty. It's just
Yeah.
think attic or a basement after a flood.
Like old baseball cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Smell musty.
Yeah.
Musty. I thought I smelled a little cologne on him. I think Jimmy said he smelled
Yes,
good.
as I was walking out.
He smelled good.
That could have just been the guys taking a shit. Maybe I enjoyed that. It smells wonderful. What is that?
It might have been
breakfast.
It might have been the hippie oil. What is it? The patchouli? Is that how you say it?
Oh, that's awful.
You don't like that?
That is
He
musty.
might have had a little of that in there with a regular cologne, I'm thinking. Which, now you're saying it's musty.
I think that would be musty. if
That's
that was
musty?
it.
How was your Letterman? You did your second letter. Is that your second one?
Third.
Oh.
Yeah. It was good.
You had to correct Jim and say third.
I'm sorry, Jim.
I don't blame him. He's right. And if I didn't say how many did you do, he would have just said, that was good. It was my third. You got it. You should brag.
I've been on 3 times, Jimmy, not
That's it.
2.
No, that's it.
They love you over there.
They do. That'll probably be the last one.
Why?
Just because he's running out of time.
Oh, okay.
When is he done?
May.
May. Wow. Okay.
At the end of the season, and then they come back with Colbert in September, like any other television
And
show.
everyone's just kind of leaving. They're
Yeah.
leaving on their own terms. I know a few people over there that have left.
I don't know. I feel bad for the
Or
production
been
people
fired
there. They want to stay.
or... Yeah, of course. But I'm sure they'll just clear house.
Of course, the one show that I'm in with, done.
That's what happens to you guys.
Yep.
The one show that you decide to be part of.
Leno liked me. They couldn't get him out of there fast enough. They couldn't get him out of there fast enough.
When is he going to pop up?
He's doing
He's
some
a good
car
show.
show on CNBC, which is what I figured he'd do. He's got enough money for, he's just doing gigs.
Did that start up already?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right. Lenny Marcus loves football. You do stats for the Giants.
That's right.
I find that really strange. You're a stand-up, and then on Sundays you're at the stadium doing stats for the Giants.
Yes.
How did that come about?
I went to SUNY Albany, and then one of my best friends up in SUNY, I worked with the football team at SUNY Albany, and one of the other guys who worked the football team, he ended up, when he graduated, the whole league went computers. He was in with the Giants as a child. He had he's got a great story, written letters to Wellington Mara of the Giants, and then he's like, when I get old enough, I want to work for you, and it really happened.
Wow.
And so this guy was like, then the statistics went computers, and then he was like, you guys want to do it? Me and this other guy want to do it, and we've been there for 20 years.
You've been doing it for 20 years?
20 years, yeah, since we got out.
And what do you actually do?
We put every play into a computer program, and it spits out the stats. You know, how much rushing, how much passing.
Right.
Would you have to make the decisions on exactly what the proper
There's an official spotter that makes that.
Okay.
For offense and then defense, and then he has the official call, and we just put in. I mean, we all talk about it. I have a replay system in front of me that.
Right.
Let's run that back for me.
How often do they get it right, the referees? With the replays, how often would you say that if they get it right?
I think they get it. They're well in the 90% time. There's once in a while they spot the ball incorrectly. Every once in a while, that was clearly on the 14-yard line, and all of a sudden, like the center will just very casually move it up to the 15-yard line, and then it's on the 15-yard line. You know, so. There's some weird stuff if you really watch. And so it drives me nuts. If they don't call out the number, sometimes these guys won't call out the penalty number. Well, that's exactly what we need.
Right.
Anything is like, oh, is it one of the offensive linemen? Really?
Yeah. Which one?
Yeah, or the whole building that the mic won't be on. Like, that might be vital to somebody. You know?
Right.
So it gets a little weird.
Do you get to meet the players?
I used to walk through the tunnel with the players. And that was cool. You know, every once in a while I'd have a pen with me and be like, boom. So I got like Peyton Manning's autograph in the old days, Joe Montana in the old days.
But what do you do where you're not allowed to walk with them
exactly.
anymore?
What did you do wrong?
No. They moved the
you have a Mean Joe Green fucking jersey moment.
I heard used to. So what did Lenny Marcus do?
No, there's two entrances. I used to make my way through the players' entrance, but now they knocked the building down. So you can't. Now the press just goes in through the press gate.
Oh, now you look like an idiot if you still do that walk, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm too old for that now.
You could maybe do the walk.
The first day, I remember one time I walked in like early 90s. I walked in and we played Green Bay, and there was a guy standing next to me who was huge. I'm like, I've never seen this guy ever. And people were like, hey, good luck today, Brett. Good luck today, Brett. And it was Brett Favre. It was his like first start in the NFL. And I'm like, this guy's not going to be anything.
I know. And then you see his dick on Instagram, and you were right to dismiss him.
Yeah, not that impressive.
No, not at all.
Wasn't really impressive.
Oh, really? Well,
so you see every home game?
I see every home game.
Have you missed any?
I'll miss every once in a while if I'm on the road somewhere I cannot get back, but we try not to have that happen.
Oh, they let you do that?
Yeah, they'll let me do that.
And where do you guys sit way up high in those?
No, I sit dead center. I have the best seat in the house, 50-yard line, like halfway up. You know, I have the best. It's the greatest job.
Are you a Giant fan? I guess you are.
I am now. You have to go to like 4 Super Bowls. You're a Giants fan. You know.
You started out as a Rams fan.
I grew up a Rams fan.
That's a weird team.
It's weird because I didn't want to root. The Jets and Giants stunk when we were kids. So every kid rooted for Dallas, like Jimmy, right? And then America's team. Give me a break. And then it was the Steelers. Mm-hmm. And the purple people eaters back then. I'm like, no, I like the swirly helmets. That's what I was like.
That's what it is half the time. You like the fucking helmets.
Yeah, I like the helmets. So I went with them, and they would lose every year in the playoffs, either down. Then they finally got to the Super Bowl, and they broke my heart in the fourth quarter against the Steelers back in like 80.
Who'd they lose to? Oh, the Steelers. Okay.
Yeah, Bradshaw threw 2 bombs and killed us. If you ever see the NFL films?
Of course, yeah.
With John Facenda, that voice of God. If you watch that, I can't even watch it because the Rams had the lead going into the fourth quarter, and then Steelers took the lead, and the Rams came straight down the field, and John Facenda in that voice goes, with like 6 minutes left, goes, and that's when Vince Ferragamo made his only mistake of the game. And he throws a pick, and I'm like, all right, shut it off. It was all great.
Yeah, it's still uncomfortable to watch an old loss. I don't know why they can't just show it in real-time speed. Why do they have to slow it down a little bit? That kind of annoys
so dramatic.
I guess so.
The music behind
NFL films, they did a great job at that.
I just like regular speed. Just show the guy running.
What do you think of What do you think of the Jets and Rex Ryan? And
they're horrible. When New York, it's amazing. Jet fans are incredible. Like they'll get like one win. Like even up until this past week, Jet fans were like, you know what? If Gina could just have one good game here, I think we could get on a. Like they're insane.
They're optimists.
Optimists. They're amazing optimists. They're horrible.
Kind of wish maybe. They didn't get rid of Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, I know. That's what I keep saying. Would you do it? Would you do it? If you could have Mark Sanchez right now.
I think Geno Smith's a bust. I don't see him ever being a really good NFL quarterback. But what the fuck do I know?
Look, Rex Ryan is a
You know more than me, certainly. Do you think he could be an NFL quarterback?
No.
A competitive NFL quarterback?
No, I think he's a backup. I think he's a backup quarterback.
Well, they don't have I've said it a million times. They're just a terrible organization.
They really are.
They're the worst. in the Giants stadium. Why don't they go get their own fucking house?
They had it. They had it right on They had it right here on the west side.
What
and
happened?
They didn't want to build it because there'll be no tailgating or some crazy thing.
Ew, is that why those jerk-offs
And
said no?
also, a lot of people like the Dolans from the Knicks knocked it down because they didn't want competition.
Right.
So between all the factors against them and then their own stupidity.
How about Long Island? How about fucking go to Long Island?
They got a nice stadium now. They just share it with the Giants. They just change everything around. and make it look like
it's a humiliating...
I agree with Jim. Why would you not want Jet Stadium?
Yeah.
Those stadiums are crazy. We were talking about before you came in that, you know, these stadiums are built for 10 days a year and maybe a few concerts. That's it.
Yeah,
That
but this
is
one would have been, if they built it on the west side, it was indoors, you could add a lot of events.
A lot of
there.
other events.
Could have made it like the Javits Center.
Didn't
one.
New York shut that down too? Like you said, it was the garden people. There was other
bunch
people
of
that
stuff.
didn't.
There was
The
a whole
community
bunch of
activists
people
didn't want
involved.
it.
Yeah,
That
we don't
would've
want
killed
West Side
traffic.
Highway traffic.
Basically, no one wanted it except for Jets fans.
I don't know. I
would've
thought it would
been
been
cool.
a great. Yeah, get on the train, go right down to watch a game. I think. Well, Manhattanites would have loved it.
You build up all those little things around, like little stores. Everybody goes out for a burger, perhaps a chesky or whatever. Everybody goes out for a snack.
Jim's got his
after.
Sunday brunch plans.
I sure
ready.
do.
Where's the Mike Francesa clip? Where's Sam? I want to play this for Lenny Marcus. He just lost his mind yesterday. Nice 7-minute rant about the Jets.
Do you like Francesa?
We won't play the 7 minutes.
He's interesting. I mean, he knows a lot about stuff, but he's so arrogant. It's like
That's why we love him.
Yeah, it's
We love the fact that
no sense of humor.
No, he stinks.
Oh.
when they made fun of him falling asleep.
Yeah, and he's like, he won't admit it.
Just admit it.
Just admit you fell asleep.
There's video of it.
I was tired. I've had a tough life. I'm on. You know what? He does like 6 hours of radio a day.
Right.
You can take a nap if the.
When he woke up, you could see on his face, he's like, where am I? What happened?
Yeah.
Someone fill me in here. And then he still spins it and says he wasn't sleeping.
It's ridiculous.
That's why I love him, though. He's just so fucking...
You ever read that guy's Twitter that makes fun of him because of his Long Island accent?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
They put it in the Daily News a lot, those tweets.
They're really funny.
You got a good section?
Yeah, you don't want the whole thing.
No, I don't want the whole 7 minutes. But Mike went off on how terrible the Jets organization is.
Well, he's right. I'll say that. I'll say this. We're going to have to agree to disagree on a lot of things. But right here, I think this is something he's probably right about. I added nothing, by the way. That was a lot of words.
Rex Ryan gets fired right after the season, Lenny?
I think so.
Time to move on?
I don't think he'll last 24 hours. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But how could they keep him?
There's no reason to fire him mid-season, though.
Woody Johnson loves him. I mean, as far as everybody else is concerned, if you hate the Jets, like, I can't imagine a Jet fan going, let's keep this guy just one more year. This could be just one more.
It's running out of 1 more year.
The whole organization stinks.
Here, play this for Lenny. This is great.
He knew his fan base felt it. Idzik is so clueless. He doesn't get it. First of all, he gives you this Jet Nation garbage. There is no such thing. Play like a Jet. What does that mean? Commit a penalty or fumble the ball or drop the ball? Which one is that? Play like a Jet. We know it's not play well. Because we've all been here all our lives. So the idea you want to build on a franchise that has been, for the most part, a laughingstock is ridiculous. Where the heck do you think same old Jets came from? So this play like a Jet stuff is nonsense. I hate hearing it. Jet Nation. There is no Jet Nation. There's no anything. There's Red Sox Nation. There are no other nations. Everyone else is just ripping it off. And they don't exist. What is Jet Nation? 42,000 empty seats? Jet Nation. The Giants have got great fans. They don't have a nation.
It's like in Zimbabwe.
This guy got up there, and you know what? If I watched that and I were the owner, I'd throw the television out the window.
He is funny.
After yesterday's game. And this guy sat there and said to you, you should have been. I wish the fans could have watched the sideline at San Diego. They did watch it. They watched your team go out there in the second half and get mauled and get shut out. They watched Michael Vick drop back and get pounded into the turf. They watched the running back who had like 30 yards on the season run for 160 against you. They saw your team put up zero effort.
Is he a Jet fan?
They watched him yesterday.
No, he's not.
Play like absolute just garbage. Penalties, mistakes. We're this close. All we have to do. These guys are laughing at you, throwing 50-yard passes over your head and intercepting passes and giggling as they come to the sidelines. It's so easy.
That's broadcasting, kids, just so take note.
Yeah. He's enjoyable at this moment.
The Bills were bad in the first half in executing yesterday. If they didn't have fired halftime, they would have had 48 points. They played like garbage.
Fuck yeah.
Their coach at halftime, when he's going off the field, said, we weren't very good. They knew it. His team was bad, and they led by 7. And you know what? They went out and played in the second half. Jets went in smiling and laughing because they made a 55-yard field goal. Here's the problem with the Jets and Rex Ryan. They are so easily satisfied. Any little victory, even inside the game, makes them smile and high five. They're still losing and they're doing that. I mean, this franchise, if I took the Rex Ryan press conference yesterday where he told you Geno Smith's still going to be a really good player, and I took this guy who just told you the owner's great, the president's great, the coaches are great, the players are great, you fans are great, everything's great, but we're 1-7. And we've been outscored, 230 to 140. And we have 1 interception on the season. And yesterday, Orton threw for completed 10 passes for 9,000 yards. Sammy Watkins, it was so easy. He forgot he was playing. He thought he was in a scrimmage. He started backpedaling. He said, I'm going to get in trouble. I forgot. This was such a joke. He said, the first time I ran the play, I was 25 yards behind the guy.
Ridiculous.
He only caught 3 passes yesterday for 157 yards.
He looks upset.
You know how long it takes a Jet receiver to get 157 yards? 3 years. And everything's fine. We just need to evaluate. We need to finish. We need to finish. You need to be finished.
I guess he's had it.
Your calls when we come back.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's so entertaining.
You know why? He has an agenda here, because Mike Tannenbaum was his friend. And they fired him to go with John Itzik.
Okay.
And that didn't help anybody.
Who's John Tannenbaum?
Mike Tannenbaum was the prior GM capologist that they had, and they fired him. Capologist. Every team has like a capologist.
Is that like a hat expert?
Yeah. It's a very nice chapeau you have.
What is a capologist?
Well, they have like a salary cap that every team has to stay under, like $100 million cap or something like that. So you have to figure out how much you're going to pay.
You got to figure out the numbers.
You got to figure out the numbers.
Got to know the numbers.
Big time accountant.
But they call him a capologist.
Capologist.
Oh, I didn't know.
That's a really douchey title for accountant.
Sure is.
That's all you are. You're a fucking accountant.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they have to. Well, there's law involved. Like when stuff kicks in and bonuses kick in and stuff like that. But he's not wrong, obviously. So he doesn't like John Itzik. He didn't think that was a good choice, and he's done.
1-7. What are you going to do?
He's been calling for his head.
And no real hope as we move forward. This isn't a building year for us.
I mean, I don't hate the Jets. I feel bad for all the Jets fans. I have lifelong friends who are Jets fans. It's
been a long fucking
They've
road.
given up their season ticket. I don't know what more they have to do.
It's like feeling bad for a woman who's married to a guy that hits her. It's like, just get out of it already.
They won't get out. I mean, people, once you pick your team, right? You can't.
Well, it's a long road, but because of radio, I also like the Bills, which is obviously in the same conference. But I was up there for 10 years, so now I'm rooting for the Bills for the rest of the year. And then I spent 3-4 football seasons in Boston, so I take a peek at the Patriots.
But if the whole
there
division,
are 3 teams Opie doesn't like.
lose.
He just doesn't like the Chiefs and the Rams. Are the only 2 teams he doesn't like in football.
I know it doesn't make sense, but when you got a team like the Jets that we've had a couple good years in the last 15,
right?
It makes you kind of look at other teams all the time, right?
Well,
you should abandon them. Totally abandon them. They've shit. They're a terrible organization.
I had way more fun watching the Bills the 10 years I was up in Western New York, and it was for the Super Bowls. 3 out of the 4 I was up in Western New York for.
They're a chick who won't lose weight. That's what they are. It's like you met a girl, she was kind of cute, and now she's 270, and she won't stop eating, and you're like, I'm going to be loyal to this girl. Stop fucking the big fat pig. Go find a nice hot young one.
It's exhausting, and we can't stick with a quarterback. I mean, how many years do these quarterbacks last? 2?
They can't do it. Now they're gonna, let's say
2 or 3?
For giggle's sake, they lend the number 1 pick in the draft. Do you take Jameis Winston?
I love him.
Do you?
He's perfect for the Jets.
He's another guy.
He's
Would
nuts.
you roll the dice on him? He's
I don't know who the fuck he is.
Oh,
Rapist? What?
Well, yes, I would then. Yes. He'll be entertaining in the sports pages. You just sold me, Lenny.
He gave me my favorite sports moment of the year when he had to sit out that game and he
crab's legs. Which one?
No, and then he comes out fully dressed for the game, and the coach is looking at him like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah,
and he's the star player, so the coach has to play it just right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Why'd you say rapist? Is he a rapist, or is he accused of something?
He supposedly raped a girl in Florida State University, and then the whole investigation was like, yeah, we looked into it.
Yeah, he wasn't.
What?
We got to say he wasn't convicted or any of that.
No.
Alleged. And then he likes crab legs, but
he stole crab legs.
But that I remember. Yeah,
but
yeah.
These college athletes, they don't make a lot of money, so you gotta give him that one.
He stood on a table, and that what was that line? I'm going to hit her in the.
No, it's I'm going to fuck her right in the pussy.
Yeah,
but everyone knew he was just going. But he was going for the viral thing. He didn't mean that.
He's got to be above. That's the guy you want to be above the fray. You're a quarterback.
You're
taking him. He's perfect for the Jets. He is.
I'll take him in a second. I love him.
Get ready, Jets fans. Here he comes.
He's nuts.
You got to just be one game worse than
But
the
you
Raiders.
understand he stood on that table not. He was just trying to redo the whole...
He's a college kid. These kids, He
was just trying to redo the viral thing.
He's an idiot.
He's an idiot, yeah.
He saw a lot of other people get attention for saying that line. He decided, I'm going to do it. That's all.
He didn't win a Heisman Trophy, though?
Yeah, he won the Heisman. This guy's got a lot of talent.
Yes.
He's a good football player. He gets a little crazy.
I don't need my athletes to be all straight edge. Fuck them. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, I like a guy who totes the books and does what he's supposed to do. That's what I like in a player.
I don't care if they do steroids. I don't care if they're just being goofballs on a table in a cafeteria.
Who steals crab's claws and then says, well, we don't get paid a lot as athletes. I was hungry.
There's been a million articles. These guys, it gets to the point they're so scared to get a violation that these athletes are starving.
Nobody who's starving steals crab claws.
Why not? If they're there, they look delicious.
If you're starving and you're going to steal something, you're going to steal something tasty, right?
Nice.
Oreos. What are you stealing from the store, Jeff?
A ham. I stole a ham once. I put it in the front of my pants. Nobody noticed the difference. Looked exactly the same when I walked in as when I walked out.
You got one there now?
You bet I do.
And you cooked up a whole ham?
A whole ham.
And he's behaved the last couple weeks. He's had 2 or 3 weeks in a row where he's been all right. Right?
For a week. He's been okay for a week.
I can't imagine he goes to class. There's no way that guy goes. There's no way.
Yeah, but that's racial.
Class. There's no way that guy's sitting in a classroom. So how are they getting away with that?
Yeah, he's not in calculus, I can tell you.
Hell no.
You don't need to be, though, when you can do. I hate we pretend that these guys, I guess they need an education to manage their money and shit, but, if he's there to play football, let him just play ball.
Imagine being the professor that, says, nope, he didn't do the requirements. I gotta fail him.
Yeah, that's not happening.
This reminds me of the movie I'm writing, where there's a down and out school, and all the students rally together and they do well on the test because there's a teacher who believes in them.
You're writing that?
You're writing that movie?
Yeah. It's called The Teacher Who Believed in Them.
Are you the coach of that team? You should be the coach of that team.
I should write myself in, because your mind is a wonderful thing, young brother. It's good, right?
It's very good.
Thank you.
What, is it an urban school?
Yes, it is. And I go there from a privileged white place, and I'm shocked at first.
Carmelo Anthony, he was in a classroom. Sam Roberts was in a class with Carmelo Anthony.
I had a friend who was in a class, to be fair, with Carmelo, but it's a true story.
Yeah.
How do you know it's a true story? Just because your friend told you?
Yeah, because he wouldn't have made it. He wasn't...
What's the famous line again? Carmelo Anthony would nap during class, right?
Well, he never went to class, and then he showed up one day.
One day.
To take a nap.
Yeah, and
one
he
day.
showed up.
Because I guess they'd tell him, look, you got to at least make an appearance in the classroom.
And it was a history class, and they were... going over some war, I don't know which war, but he had his hood up the whole time and his head down on the desk, and then the teacher opened it up to questions, and he's talking about this war, or teaching about the war, and Carmelo raised his hand, and the whole class stopped, oh my God.
Holy fuck, he's going to ask a question.
Because it was his year when he was the guy, And the teacher was like, yeah, Carmelo. And he just said, war is bad. It makes me sad. And then he put his head back down on the desk.
I want to believe that's true.
It's true.
I want to believe that.
Fuck yeah.
That's why the Knicks can't win, right there. The Knicks also stink. Horrible organization. Please sell the team, Jim Dolan.
I get shit on all the time, but I don't think they win a championship with Carmelo Anthony.
Never. Shit on all the time. From who? Not from anybody who knows how to play basketball.
I'm not saying I'm an expert at sports, but basic
I
shit
say
I know.
you're an expert at sports.
Basic shit I know.
You're an expert.
Because he's a hog. Unless Phil Jackson could get him to really get other players involved, we all know that's when you really start winning championships.
You're absolutely right. They have no chance.
Lenny Marcus.
They have no
Lenny
chance.
knows more about sports than me.
That's not true.
No,
I don't like when you talk down about yourself.
They're not going to win, and they're not going to win just for the mere fact that LeBron James is walking around the planet. They'll
what do you think
never
of the
be
Cavaliers? I was reading a little article on them this morning. They said they don't have defense though.
They're moving out of Cleveland. I've heard that they actually are leaving Cleveland and they're going to Miami. It's going to be the Miami Heat Cavaliers.
No.
They don't have defense. It's going to be their problem.
Yeah, just let them gel for a little while. They'll be fine.
But I think, I mean,
They'll be fine.
I think LeBron knows it might take a year or two to get a real good shot.
By the
at
end
it.
of the year, they'll win the East. I think.
Yeah.
The Knicks aren't going to win. I can tell you that right now. They're going to be horrible.
You think they're going to be horrible?
Horrible.
I hope so. I love when local sports fans are upset. That makes me very happy. I love when a good local team shits the bed.
Why? What makes them horrible?
Well, who else do they have besides Carmelo Anthony?
True.
Let's say he drives.
Bill Shepard? Bill Shepard's good.
How'd you get Bill Shepard?
Bill Shepard from the University of Illinois.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's good. Was he a draft pick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, he was.
Interesting. No, they're going to stink. Knicks are going to stink.
All right. We should take a break before Mick Fleetwood.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Lenny will stay with us.
Yeah, of course. Lenny Marcus. What are you promoting, Lenny?
Nothing. I'll be in town this weekend, probably at the Comedy Cellar with
Nothing
Little
to promote?
Jimmy.
I'm not going to be there.
That's why. Huh?
I won't be there this week.
Where are you
no.
going?
I'm doing another club.
Wow.
Yes, I am.
Excuse us.
Yeah. Halloween. I'm not going to the Cellar on Halloween.
Why?
Too crazy.
It's crazy
Oh,
down
that's
there?
true.
Yeah, you got to shut
Friday
the
I
streets,
might
get
go.
shut down, and all that stuff.
wow,
Yeah.
fuck
You can't cross 6th Avenue. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we'll have Mick Fleetwood next, hopefully.
Hopefully, unless he cancels or dies.
What?
I'm just saying.
And we're back. Sorry about that. We're trying to figure out where Mick Fleetwood is. He's going to be in any minute. He's a little late. He's a little behind on his interview. So we got Lenny Marcus in as well. And Kenny's trying to set us up to have you do your material.
Nah, well,
And we don't do that here, Lenny.
Thank you. My girlfriend she's a huge fan of the show.
She is?
Yes, and she just texted, please stop talking about sports.
Why?
I know she's not into that.
A little sports here and there doesn't hurt, right?
The women don't like it. I don't blame them. They want to hear about the girl stuff. Periods and stuff.
Yep.
Well, we're in a weird spot because we can't really start anything new because, he's going to show up any second. He's a big star, this Mick Fleetwood.
That's right.
All right, how about this? Are you a Fleetwood Mac fan? Lenny
No.
Marcus?
Nope.
Can you name 5 songs
that?
by
That'd be
Fleetwood Mac?
tough.
Oh, no.
Rihanna.
Hold on.
All right, he's here.
Hold on. Fuck. Hold on. All right.
Walk right in.
Hold on.
Okay, I'm going to hug him.
You're going to hug him? He's a big guy, too.
He's a big
Yeah.
guy. You're going to look tiny.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know if he'll hug me. The rumor mill is buzzing.
That's great.
We've been doing obnoxious hugs with Jim Norton. It's going to be a fine montage video in the very near future.
Roland just mouthed the words, he's tall.
We're almost done with it. Yeah, he's 6'6".
He's a big guy.
He's got a book called Play On.
And Stevie Nicks is like 5'1".
Is she that small?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
5'2", maybe.
You met her?
No, but that's what I
You
hear.
dated her, didn't you?
Yeah, I dated
Stevie
Stevie
Nicks.
Nicks.
Come on, just make
I
shit
did.
up. No one can call you out on it.
That's true.
Were you the one blowing coke up her ass?
Yeah.
I'm known for that. I'm known for that.
We got to ask.
Joe Rogan with him. That guy looks like fucking Rogan.
Wow, that guy doesn't fucking play.
Who?
The hell? What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe he's taking a dump.
What does it have to be
He's
a
right
whole
there.
thing? You see him?
Yeah, I see him from here.
I don't see him from my
He's
angle.
got the little ponytail thingy.
I don't know if he'll hug me. He might not play that.
You got to do a low hug.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. I see him outside.
Yeah. That's his jacket the guy's home. Look at that
Now
jacket.
he's having a sip of coffee.
What do we fuck? It's a live interview.
He took off his hat.
What are you doing?
Well,
Get in here.
Let's make Fleetwood.
Wouldn't it be great if he sat down and was like, "Those Jets really suck"?
Make Fleetwood. It's not Lenny Marcus. Lenny would be yelling, "Get the fuck in here, Lenny!" All right, I think they're opening the door. Here we go.
Oh my! Mick, spelling all rumors. How about a hug, Mick? Oh, good God!
Are we allowed to hug?
Oh, yes, we are.
What's up, Mick? Mick Fleetwood, everyone. What's up?
We're on.
Oh my God, that's
We are.
Welcome.
Yes, we are on. Mick Fleetwood. What a pleasure, sir. How's your morning going?
It's going good. I'm just getting. I might be coughing a bit, but alive, and it's too bad. But
What, you got a little Ebola? What do you got going on?
no such thing. But
yeah, a little.
We all actually got a cold when we played the Garden. My lovely girlfriend came in with her daughter, and it's turned into a petri dish.
Oh, everyone's sick.
Well, that's where I think I got it from.
Are you guys going to be all right for tomorrow's show? Because I'm thinking of buying tickets.
We're pros.
All right, because I got to pay a top dollar for these tickets. I want to make sure you're in fine form for the show.
You can talk to my lawyer outside.
Yes, that means no comps.
Oh no,
I should put
paying.
these on, right?
Yeah,
become one of you.
So you have the Afrin, that's what that's for? I'm addicted to Afrin. Like, if I do it once for the next week, I'm stuck doing it.
Oh, I won't be. I did this in honor of you.
Thank you very much. Can I borrow it?
Well, we can share fluids, yeah. No. But look how professional I am.
Look at all the stuff you got.
Lozenges, Afrin, tissues, just so I can
some kind of
coughing and splurting all over you.
But if you do that, you won't like your nose won't recongest. Mine gets restuffed.
Yeah, it
after
does. Right. I will do this, and that will be that, just for today.
Oh, okay. How great is it to not be the
because I
singer?
have a cold.
The book, Mick. Congratulations on the book.
It came out today,
and you're letting it all out too, man.
Well, it's not one of those tittle-tattle type things, but I am personally. So, you obviously get your way of saying, well, why the book? And the book to me is a way of expressing.
Right.
I play drums. I worry about a band that I've been in since 1967, and that would be, my epitaph might be, oh, we kept the band together, we did a pretty good job. But it's sort of through other people. And I don't write songs and I don't sing them. And so this is a giant song.
But you did keep the band together. What I find fascinating.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, what I've been learning about lately about Fleetwood Mac is the early years. And a lot of people just don't realize, the history in the really early days with Pete Green just kind of losing his mind and just leaving the band.
Yeah.
And they say he's one of the best blues musicians of all of England, right?
Most definitely. And that's part of our legacy and something incredibly dear to me. I mean, Peter and I formed Fleetwood Mac and back in 1967. And John was... by namesake was already part of the band, but he was still playing in a band that me and Peter had played in, John Mayall's Blues Breakers. So he was supposed to be there, but he actually came into the ranks about 3 months after we formed the band. But it was, not many people know all the details, increasingly so, and certainly our peers with other wonderfully talented guitar players pay major kudos, especially for sure to Peter Green. And there's really not a major player out there that I've not heard anything other than what would in England saying taking their hat off to him.
Did you ever find out what was wrong with him? Because he really kind of, like you said, lost his mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want the money. He got OCD about not wanting money.
So he wanted you guys to play for free, basically, and give all the money to charity.
Yeah, what a shitty idea that is. Terrible.
Well, it's founded from a good place, but it wasn't for me and John, that was for sure.
Right.
Back in the day. And the nearest I got to when all that was going on, which was part of Peter became his illness was schizophrenia, and it never took a complete toll on him, but it took a major toll in terms of storytelling, such as things that unhappy stories, you know, where he sort of lost his mind until he learnt to medicate and stuff like that. Having said that, for me it was losing a friend, you know, and as much as you will it to be differently, because he would suddenly be A-OK, after he left the band, and I go like, well, he's okay, and then suddenly it dawns on you that it's wishful thinking, and he'll say something or do something, and you're going like, oop, it's not okay.
Well, who left the band that he filled in for? Because he actually came back and finished a tour because somebody quit.
That was Jeremy. Jeremy Spencer left us, so to speak, in L.A. and disappeared off the street and joined a religious group called the Children of God. And Peter came out to help with the situation, and we didn't cancel the tour, but we finished out with Peter, and that was the last time really that I played with him. I played with him a few times since, but not as a whole thing.
Right. Do you guys keep in touch to this day?
Yeah, probably, you know, every time for sure when I go to England, I reach out. Sometimes he's in the mood, sometimes he's not. And I've learnt to live that.
Wow.
For years and years and years, back in my sort of, excuse me, crazy days, you know, I'd get half a jug of whiskey down me, and I'm going to phone Pete up. And sometimes it was great, and sometimes I ended up like in tears, you know, just because it was so sad.
Right.
And that became a sort of a model for me, and that I eventually wore it out and realized that I had to let go of this sort of weird hope that he was going to be okay and we could play together. And I mean, years later, I always had fantasized that maybe we'll, you know, it's way into that with Lindsay and what we're doing, but how fun would it be to play at the Albert Hall and dig out all the old blues songs? And a couple of times I tried to organize that just because, and he backed out right at the last minute. Oh. So generally, but I see him. He turned up when we played the O2 Centre in London about a year and a half ago. And he's my mentor, you know, right. He's Peter Green, my friend.
Right.
And he's greatly changed, as we know, in this conversation. I said, well, do you enjoy it? And he'd go, yeah, sort of. Sort of. I go, like, he said, can I get a sandwich back here? And I go like, and that's sort of it. You have to just take it as it is.
Wow.
And then suddenly he'll go and say something that will just cut you no slack, but in a great way. He's so truthful and so perceptive. You go like, where the hell did that come from? And so he's sort of present in a wonderfully odd way, and you just have to give over to that.
So you just accept it. You have to.
That would annoy me when that guy Jeremy left, though. I'm like, what a selfish thing to do. The band is about to do a gig that night, and he runs. I noticed reading this that it seemed like a lot of people did a lot of really, really selfish stuff, and you seem to not be nearly as angry about it as I would have been.
Well, that is my model. I think it's taken a toll on me where, you know, going, oh, Mick, react, you know. Aren't you like bitter and twisted or something? And I haven't been. That's the way I was brought up, I think. But somewhere in there, I think in writing the book, there are things that actually I've quietly addressed where, in answer to your question, that I have gone, for instance, would be not so much the anger things, it's just sort of not part of my model, but in terms of taking responsibility of going, I had no idea how much I hurt you. You know, mostly relationships with ladies. They go like, God, I was so just doing what I was doing and going my merry way and had my blinkers on. And I worked with Jenny, my first wife, on good chunks in this book. And it's fascinating and thought-provoking and appropriate to take responsibility. And
you almost took too much, though. I was like, I felt bad for you because it's like, I'm sure you were no angel and you were out doing what you were doing, but she had an affair with one of your bandmates, and you were like, well, I wasn't really present. I'm like, wow, that's a guy taking the high road.
Well, and I don't think it's a stiff upper lip hide your feelings thing, because I'm a drama queen, and I like to think that showing feelings is what I live for. I certainly live for it. It's my only reference point with music, where it does something touch me. Or I think really my problem was I tried and still do to some extent belonging to everybody,
right?
And which tells you better. What is that? Well, it's probably some form of insecurity, or one diabolical, narcissistic creature. You never really know. I hope it's a nice form of narcissism, but that all came out into it. But in terms of that adage about why didn't you take a certain thing and basically say, well, bugger off, you're not you're ever going to be forgiven. And I think forgiveness is an attribute which we all need more of. Without getting too maudlin here, my father always used to tell me is that as long as something gets done, and I think I cite it in the book, as long as something gets done, because he worked in the Royal Air Force, and he was a group captain, a wing commander, in charge of a lot of guys doing their thing. And to get something done, he said, don't worry about taking the credit. If someone else is taking the credit for, quite frankly, what you've done, if that happens to be the case, take a breath and go and just rejoice in it's getting done.
Right.
And stop all the tittle-tattle and move forward. And it's a pretty good model.
It's actually the exact opposite of my philosophy, which is take credit for shit you didn't do.
You always had turmoil around you as far as the band goes. From the Pete Green stuff, which we talked about, other band members leaving, and then finally going with the lineup that most people know Fleetwood Mac for, Stevie and Lindsay and the McVies, and they're married. There's two married couples, and you're married, but not within the band.
No.
And then all the marriages are breaking up. And what I find incredibly fascinating is how you guys were able to just continue on with all these broken relationships. I know it led to all the songs on Rumors, which is one of the biggest selling albums of all time. But as a human being, how do you deal with that and keep the band together with all that turmoil?
Right. Well, I think,
I'm sure you've answered this question many times, but
you mean me personally, or all of us?
All you guys.
All of us. Well,
sure.
It was quite astoundingly unbelievable. But you're right. All five of us were going through exactly the same thing at the same time. Unusual. And certainly to have two, basically, although Stevie and Lindsay weren't married, they might as well have been. They were joined at the hip musically and knew each other since they were 16. And John and Chris, of course, were married. I was piggy in the middle, and my wife was going out with my best friend. But so we're all challenged. And I was piggy in the middle to some degree, at least. I was spared having to be singing harmonies, 5 inches from your ex-partner, going, and what are you doing tonight? So it was not easy, and all I can say is that the resolve I would have known, and certainly they were all unbelievably good actors, or I like to think what didn't happen was I never got the sense that the band was actually going to break up. Because I think the music and what we were doing, the company store, so to speak, became so unbelievably powerful that these guys and girls, all of us, were just not going to throw it away.
But how do you work together? Like, how are you sharing
with
songs?
Difficulty. It became one huge, like McVie, John. There was a reason why he said, "This is like a damn soap opera," He said, Rumors, what a great title. It was his title.
Was that the original title, or were there other ones?
Oh, no, there were thousands.
Okay.
Probably.
Oh, I'm sure.
The women suggested, you're impotent. No, that's not good.
There were thousands invented every 5 seconds. There was a certain white substance that we were all partial to.
Mm-hmm. Yogurt?
Yogurt it was. Got your tongue wagging. So that there's probably literally dozens of titles. But when that came, it was boom, we're done.
Were you guys actually doing coke on stage too? Because I love the fact that you said like the lights would dim in between songs, and the road manager would come out with like a tray.
A tray, yeah. I will refrain from the actual beer company that the tops were from, but we found, especially me, the tops of this beer were very suitable, of course, and we actually got not the tops off the bottle, but we got the actual company. I don't know how we did it or why we did it really, but they sent just thousands of tops that had never been used.
Wow.
So they were put on the tray, and I had a revolving tray down under near my tom-tom. You know those wheelie things on the middle of a table where you,
like a lazy Susan.
Would you like the mustard?
Right.
Or the ketchup?
Yeah.
Except it was all just one thing. And so when it got flicked around, the back would be the empty one, and my roadie would be crawling along the ground, sliding them in on top, and then I would just flick them around. There'd be like a whole new set. So, yeah, it was pretty like a sort of weird, sick machine there for a while.
But, did you end up stopping the cocaine?
Oh, I'm on it right now.
Helps with the cold.
No, because, I mean, in the book, the amount of cocaine you guys did, that must have been pretty tough to get control of.
No, but I also addressed that in the book, and speaking entirely from my own perspective. I sort of became known as the king of toot, instead of the king of pop. But it's like, and especially in England, all these hugely exaggerated stories that still, I mean, it is what it is, but there's supposed to be a line of white powder that's supposed to stretch out, some inordinate distance.
7 miles or something?
Something like that. And someone had taken the time to work it out, because I probably said it with a sense of bravado, well, did whatever it was. But looking back on it, one is the survival aspect and you said, well, I haven't seen hide nor hair of anything like that in probably 23 years, something, maybe more now.
Right.
So overdone and lucky, overdone and lucky to be out. And there are some, I've tried not to aggrandize the thing, but it is what it is. It's as we sit in this, you're all younger than I am, you hear the stories and so forth. So I've tried to be honest and not aggrandize it, but in a sense of some form of humor about it, and trying to get some form of resolve in terms of the way you talk about it. Right. Which is, don't go there. It becomes a very worn out play. Having said that, there are things that, quite frankly, were analyzed as being some form of fun,
What was the wildest rumor you heard about the band and cocaine?
Well, I think that I spent $60 million on cocaine.
Did you?
And ended up broke. Well, no.
Okay.
Although you're sitting next to the king of the ex-toot king, but I think segueing out of just the thing, and I don't mind talking about whatever we need to talk about at all. But one of the things that we've all noticed was that, in a strange way, we were very open about just being us. Sort of naive, really, where a lot of this information became sociologically, all the love affairs, all the, bits and pieces, certainly the drug talk and all that stuff. Probably, our nature would be to be honest, which is deemed to be a good thing.
Right.
Having said that, it also puts a veneer on it that was a little irresponsible, in a way. But the alternative is just to lie and say, well, we're all fine. And we all love each other, which we do. That part of it is true, and we don't have any problems at all. And by the way, we don't do drugs, because we're sort of like a pop band, and we have a nice squeaky image. It could have been totally done like that. I mean, it could have been the new ABBA, or whatever. And it's just, what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So I think we inherit that now in a good way. And the good way is that when we walk on a stage, we're not perfect. And people do know a lot about us. And that encumbered sort of tittle-tattle thing that often got in the way of us talking about our music, we go, oh, no, not that again. But we did it, and we were in it, and now there's a real great relationship of people meeting people and people loving our music.
And that's relatively recent, where you guys really are getting along and love each other, or
well, we've always loved each other. I mean,
all the turmoil's pretty much pushed.
No, there's always some
but not like the old days. I guess what I'm trying to say.
I understand that. We all respect the fact that we have time for our lives, which took me. I mean, this book addresses a lot of that, where I've got to watch it about the company known as Fleetwood Mac, that you just dedicate so much stuff and energy into it that you don't realize that you're not doing some other stuff that you need to do, especially with family and stuff.
How did you guys have fun? Because I was reading about how it got so bad that you guys took separate cars to the venues, separate green rooms, on planes. You didn't communicate. No.
We never. That sounds like the Cream.
Yeah.
Or the Eagles.
Oh,
really?
Well, you said it, not me.
You drove station wagons to gigs, which I loved for a long time.
No. When everything went bad, that's what I was reading about, and they said
but not in that super cosmetic way that some of that no doubt would be when John and Christine broke up.
Okay.
We all traveled stupidly in like these station wagons. We didn't realize that we could have got a bus.
Yeah.
But go figure. So a little bit of that happened, but not in that staunch way of I'm staying in a separate hotel and all that stuff. We weren't clever enough to realize that we could have caused ourselves a little less pain by doing that. I think some of that, but I've actually never heard that. And I suppose when in passing I say I would find myself in a station wagon with John McVie,
right,
and Chris would be, in the other car. But I never got the sense that there was like this real segregation going on, although emotionally there had to have been some of that.
Right.
Which, again, brings you back to what are these people? Well, they're not a bunch of people. That there are some of those bands that function. They go usually a bunch of guys. For some reason, they say, you know what? I don't see eye to eye with you anymore. 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 of these you could cite. I'm not going to do it, but it's not the point. The point is a bunch of guys can say, you know what? We make great music. We make a great living. And we've tried to do stuff on our own. We're all useless on our own. and they can make a sort of deal where you can approach it unemotionally and say, you know what, it's just strictly business. We get on the stage. We're damn great. And I love being on stage with you, but I'm not going to have tea with you tomorrow. Well, we can't do that. We're all ex-lovers. And we simply can't be that corporate.
Right.
It's not possible. Some of it is in there, but very little. What there's a lot of is a bunch of people that find a way to make it work, which means they have to address increment by increment what is going to make this possible and not painful, because no one in this band has to be doing this. So therein lies the nice story.
Mm-hmm.
That without any soft soaping demonstrates that we actually really love each other, and we've found ways for that to continue.
To make it work.
They're telling us you have to leave. Before you go, they're giving us you have somewhere else to be. We would be neglecting our duties if we didn't ask you about Stevie Nicks. Obviously, that's a huge was a piece of the puzzle at one point, and you had an affair with her, and then went on to her best friend, which makes you my fucking hero completely.
He hates his best friend stuff.
No, I love that you did that.
But that goes back to my point. Like
she's the godmother of my 2 lovely twins.
Really?
Yeah, fairy godmother.
But that goes back to my point, and then they're still able to function as a band. That just blows my mind.
Is the rumor true? And again, we've heard the rumor. It might just be one of those stupid things where the people were saying that after a while that she had a hole in her nose and couldn't do cocaine, and they had to.
Not true.
It's not true.
Not true.
You know which rumor I'm talking about? The roadie had to blow the cocaine. It's not true.
I think it's one of those ones that went to the moon.
Okay.
With you know, the Oreo cookie back to the moon and back syndrome. Well, apparently that line of white substance actually nearly made it to the moon as well.
Oh, okay.
Not just the 7 miles.
Okay. So it's not true.
Okay,
that rumor's been around.
We heard
forever.
from people who said that they knew people in the band, and I knew Erock's road manager that she couldn't do coke, and the roadie had to blow into her ass. Like,
so they figured out another way to give it to her.
That would be a no.
Okay, cool.
I can't believe we just asked Mick
Why wouldn't we?
that.
You know the story. I mean, we have to address that.
With all due respect, we asked that question,
well,
sir.
Of course, you have to know.
This book is going to be an amazing read for people, for real.
I have to say,
amazing.
I hope so.
I growing up did not. I don't listen to a lot of Fleetwood Mac, and I was fascinated by this book. Like, you don't have to be a Fleetwood Mac fan to love this book. I blew through this in 2 days. It is unbelievably
good. You just can't stop blowing, can you?
I really can't. Well, you know, it's I've met that special young lady, so that's what she likes me to do to her, Mick. But it's really a great book.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it certainly does. But it's an excellent book, and there's a lot that made me angry in this for you, reading about the way these guys left the band. And
that's very sweet of you.
It's great.
And I'm A-OK. So you can sleep tonight.
Oh, I will. I have apnea. We'll talk about that during the break. It's fascinating.
We got to get them out of here. Yeah. They're nervous outside. Mick Fleetwood, the book's called...
The Wind is Blowing.
Yes, Now Then and Fleetwood Mac, Play On, the autobiography. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
All right, Mick Fleetwood. We're going to end the show today with Billy Corrigan doing Landslide, by the way. Erock for the peeps. For the peeps.
Uh-oh.
We got Lenny Marcus in studio.
I got a big tusk just like an elephant. I got a big tusk just like an elephant. I got a big tusk just like an elephant. I got a big tusk just like an elephant. He threw something in there.
We should have told him that.
I forgot. Dude, he was fucking Harrison's brother-in-law. I wanted to ask him about the Beatles. He was talking about when Lennon got shot, how devastating it was. It was just...
I think we need to know how much time we got, because... Did you? All right.
Roland!
We could have talked to that guy for over another half hour easily.
Yeah. His answers were a little long. That's why I wanted to try to jump in there.
I bowed to Jimmy today. I set up the whole Stevie Nicks cocaine in the asshole question. That's why I started with... I'm not taking any credit. I'm just telling you how my mind works. I went with Mick Fleetwood. I wasn't brave enough to just say it, so I'm like, "Hey, what's the craziest story you heard about your cocaine use?" Hoping that it would lead to it, and then I was too scared to actually go with it. And then we kind of started getting off the cocaine thing a little bit, and I bowed to Jim Norton because he fucking asked the question, and he denied that ever happened.
I didn't ask it the way I wanted to. I was just telling Sam during the break, Sam and I will make love sometimes during the breaks. And we'll go over what just happened as I'm inside of him. Of course it's true.
Pillow talk.
And I asked him that. I almost asked it too apologetically, but because Erock told us tonight he has to go, he had like live interviews set up.
Right.
And I didn't want to just throw it at him like a shock jock, like, so did you like Coke Pop? Because we hadn't discussed it yet. Like, I wish if we had talked about Stevie Nicks first, there would have been a much more natural question to get into, but we hadn't, so. But I had to ask.
I bow to you, because I chickened out, I think.
Yeah.
I was going there, and I was like, and then Jimmy did it, yes.
He was a very good-smelling man, and poor Lenny didn't get it. We all got our pictures, but Lenny fucking asked too late.
I didn't really need a picture.
Okay, I know.
It's all right, Jim. It's all right.
I really felt bad for my friend Lenny.
That's very sweet of you.
Shaking back Lenny.
Will you make up a Gina song one day for me?
About your girl?
Yeah.
All right.
Because she's the
Gina, you're dating a Jew. Christ will not be happy you're dating a Jew.
Oh, Jimmy.
Perfect.
We just talked to a rock star, Jimmy.
Well, he's my friend for many years. He's a great comedian.
No.
I misunderstood.
He was a true rock star. He has the whole vibe going on.
His energy is he really is.
I asked him about his pig when we went to break, and
we're divorced twice.
He talked about his potbelly pig pet for about 10 minutes, and his people are panicking.
He's live entertainment, whatever.
And he's like, I don't give a fuck. This guy asked me a question about my pet pig. A big smile on his face. He really wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
And
then told him how loyal they were. Right?
10 minutes later, he's still talking about it, and his people are like looking at me like, like, thanks a lot.
We
got to get him out of here, and you're asking him about his pig.
But he had that vibe, and he knew that they were in a rush. But he knows that he's Mick Fleetwood, and there's nowhere he's going to rush to. And I kind of liked his energy.
Yeah, he's on his own energy. He's on his own
Put his
time.
arm around me. We chatted a little. Couple of men. Really nice guy.
Very nice guy.
That was fun.
Yeah. And his answers were very slow kind of guy, like talks like that, and it's kind of hard to jump in when someone's talking like that because you don't want to be rude. But
I wanted to ask him about, did you see Grohl's documentary Sound City?
Thank God you didn't get to ask a question.
What a terrible question that would have been.
They met him.
Stupid.
If you watch that documentary,
man,
he just walked into the other room.
Seinfeld? Hey, Mick, what do you watch on TV?
He walked into the other. He was
Upstairs,
there. And he walked
downstairs?
All right.
He did what?
He walked in. He was just there.
Come on, Lenny. Why? Lenny, why?
I'm not
Lenny.
gonna tell you.
Thank God you kept your mouth shut.
Forget it.
Thank God.
That would have ruined everything.
You knew to just shut up.
Yep.
Mick is just fucking.
And we love Lenny Marcus.
Comes in with his cold. He really didn't want to hug me either, but.
If we get sick, we know it was from a Fleetwood Mac dude. That's kind of cool.
You know what the great part?
I'll take a cold from Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, why not?
That's all right.
I don't know.
This hug, because we forget that, Mick Fleetwood got a hug from Jim.
As he should have.
I've never seen Jim stand there with his arms outstretched for as long as he did this morning.
I had to wait for him to hug me.
I mean, it was seconds and seconds ticking by as he just stood there like he was on a cross.
Yeah.
And you go right into his armpit.
Yeah.
Yep.
They all hug you. It's a nice feeling when you walk into the radio studio to have someone greet you in such a fashion.
Who was the best hug?
They've all been wonderful. I mean, they've all been honored to do it. Howie Mandel wasn't that keen on it, but he did it.
Neither was Joe Perry.
The Joe Perry.
No, it's not happening.
When he yelled out, Joe fucking Perry.
Yeah, Tara Reid was not necessarily thrilled.
What about when you called Ryan Phillippe baby?
Oh, yeah.
Ryan, baby!
The montage is almost done. I can't wait to get it out there for the people. But here's today's.
Oh, very nice.
Opie, come on. What's the matter?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
And you get up and your arms are just out 100, 2, 100, 3, 100, about 5 seconds.
What was
and
the
then
rumor?
He finally hugs him. Did
I say rumors?
Yeah,
you did.
What did I say? I don't even remember.
Something about that. Like you phrased a rumor being solved in such a way. I don't know exactly what you worded. It was you made a face after you sat down like, I can't believe I just said that.
Wait, I got to hear the rumor line now.
All right, I think they're opening the door here.
Opie, come on.
Opie. Listen.
Mick, hey, spelling all rumors.
Douche.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I am cunt. Hear me roar. That was terrible.
Dispelling all rumors.
Yeah, because I had to say rumors plural.
So you couldn't say rumor mill.
That's the name of the record, is Rumors.
Rumors.
Yeah.
You said dispelling all
Yeah, not
rumors.
good. You know, because it's a tell-all book.
Did you chip Mick Fleetwood?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which one was it?
He some joke he laughed at. I was like,
okay.
that's right.
I think.
Yeah.
And there was another right before that too. He went, yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. I think he said Chip jumped in.
He was talking about when he was talking about cocaine the first time.
Oh yeah.
He said something about doing drugs, and Chip went, fuck yeah.
Yeah, he was nice. But I didn't mean to say I wasn't a Fleetwood Mac fan to be a dick. I was only saying it like you don't have to be a fan to enjoy the book.
Yeah, I think he appreciates that. He don't give a fuck. He has enough Fleetwood Mac fans, but you're basically telling the people out there you don't have to be a Fleetwood Mac fan to read this book, which means more books being sold, which means more money in his pocket. He got that.
And I really did feel bad for him reading this. Like there's some we didn't get to the Kerwin guy. Remember you asked about him? He's the one that went into the bathroom and smashed his own fucking head against the wall.
Right.
And then couldn't go on or wouldn't go on. And it was like, this is the shit he had to deal with. And he was like the most stable guy. I'm sure he was doing all this did more blow than all of them.
He managed the band for 10 years, and a lot of people credit him for keeping the band together through all that craziness.
Yeah. You did come off poorly when you said that thing about Fleetwood Mac.
What?
That you said you weren't a fan.
No, but it was actually, that's what I would, that will...
He looked disappointed.
Not too bad.
Well.
All right, let's do the dead body thing, and then we'll get out of here. Could you move the screen for Can you move the screen for Lenny Marcus?
Let's make the book. Let's talk about this. The ups and downs of the band. Go. Mick, you've had your ups and downs, as many of us do.
You doing interview practice after the interview?
Yeah, like what are things I should have said. Mick, you're very close to the Beatles. Now, you were closely related to George Harrison.
Oh, Jimmy.
I've seen a photo of you and McCartney, but Ringo and John, comment.
Wow.
One dead, what isn't?
You had no information in that question.
Yeah, I know. It really was. The Beatles, comment. But he hung out with the Beatles back then, and he knew the Stones before there were anybody. I wish we had a little more time with him because he
we were
really
just getting started.
He knew these guys in their infancy.
He was easy to talk to.
Yeah.
There were so many directions to go, but
it was a little hard to jump in on because he was British and talked like that and just kind of didn't give you a breath.
He likes giving a long answer.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. And the long and short of it is, how about just the short
part?
I kind of like watching Jim interview an empty chair right now.
I like it a lot, too. Mick, honestly, let's talk about the drugs. What do you think that does to the children, Mick?
I'm almost expecting the chair to answer. It's funny.
Let's do the dead thing from the 1800s.
Oh, I don't know. They're dead. Fuck them.
It's my
that's Jim's motto.
It's my last tweet on my Twitter, Opie Radio, and I give the guy credit. Thanks to that guy for helping me out with this. But basically, there was a time. Could you go? Is that the start of the page?
Yep.
This might seem like an ordinary picture of twins in Victorian times. Perhaps the fellow on the right has fallen asleep mid-photo. Nope, I'm afraid not. He's dead.
Oh,
what?
Photography was so expensive back then that a lot of people, when a loved one died, went, fuck, we got to take a picture so we can remember them.
Oh, my God.
So the kid in this picture, they look like they're about 17, maybe 17, 18 years old, and they look like they're certainly brothers, maybe even twins, and the one on the right died. So then that's when they go to these photo places to get a picture taken so they can remember them.
And they dress them up.
They dress them up and everything. What does it say underneath the picture?
It basically just says that taking photos, like hiring a photographer and all that, was almost as expensive a process as like a giant funeral would be now. So families didn't take family photos, so this was the only time they did it.
Right. They finally said, oh, fuck.
This is when they're dead, they took the photo?
Yeah.
Rather than when they're alive, they took the photo.
You know, what
It makes
fucking
no sense.
fiscally irresponsible dummies. Take one picture of the whole family and then you got it.
Right. There's a big...
Enjoy them while they're living.
This was a big thing, though, for a while. Go up. There's more pictures.
There's more?
Oh, man.
Wait, what years was this?
Look at this. These are all little kids. They're
dead?
5 kids. The lowest.
Oh, God.
The one might be like 3-ish.
Yeah, she's about 3 in 2 months, maybe a couple of weeks.
And she's with her brothers. She's with her brothers and sisters.
He's 4, he's 5, she's 6.5. He'll be 8 in June.
Wait, which one's the dead one?
The one all the way on the left. Now that
eyes shut.
That explains the next part of this. So they're all 5 kids. All 5 kids are standing there.
Yeah.
The 4 obviously still alive. The one is dead. They prop them up.
How do they prop her up?
They show it later on in this on this website.
No.
See, here's another dead kid. Not how old do you think this?
It's like a teenager, probably.
Teenager.
He's dead?
He's dead. His right arm is kind of leaning on a chair, and then they circle where the base of the structure is that helps prop him up for these photos.
How do they know that's what that is, though? That could be something else.
He doesn't look dead because there's historians. We're just dopey radio guys, but historians know this shit. And then
let me see.
See, then they show the apparatus they use to kind of prop up the dead person, so they could stand relatively naturally for these photos.
I can't believe they didn't do it while they're alive. And how do they prop their eyes open?
Yeah. Well, in some cases they didn't, but
yeah, they said in here they actually some of them have painted on eyes.
No,
over their eyelids.
Yes.
Was that last one that?
Let's go zoom in on that one, Sammy. Let's get back to it and zoom in. Painted on, yes or no?
Oh, my God. The last one, the eyes are wide open. That person looks absolutely alive when the photo was taken.
Yes.
All right,
you can't tell. You never
can't tell. All right.
No, just fucking take the picture while they're alive.
Oh, it's just
dummies. People, how stupid were they, though?
Look at this one.
I'd fuck either one of them in that condition.
They're both dead?
No, the one on the right, you could tell the arms are, you could tell
She's stiff.
Yeah, you could tell that her arms are stiff, even though it's a photograph.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that fucking creepy?
I think none of them would think to do while you're alive. I just can't get over the stupidity of these people. Well, maybe this is a joke, dude. This whole thing might be a joke.
No. I doubt it.
I don't know. This whole thing might be a goof. Ah!
right, that's not a goof.
What's this one about?
I don't know. She's rotting.
Why is her face all beat up on the right side?
She's been dead for...
Dinner was cold.
Why don't you fucking take a picture from the other side?
Well, again, maybe it was just as bad from the other side. Din was cold.
What the hell?
How about an iPhone picture? I'm just chipping you.
What the hell? And then they show, like, an actual photographer taking a picture of a dead person.
How do they know he's dead? Not in a fucking... He might be paralyzed. He might be one of those people that's just paralyzed. And his head's being held up. This whole thing's a fucking ruse.
It's a farce?
It's a farce. This whole thing is being put for someone's whimsy.
You think it's a hoax?
This is a hoax.
No, it's not.
This was thought up if somebody was being whimsical.
No.
Looks like me watching CNN.
He's all propped up.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
oh my God. What year is that from?
It's like 1971. It's fucking, it's Aretha Franklin in Georgia. Who is that? It's fucking Sly.
We did the story on this woman. She died in the last year or two. She was a huge, I think, football fan.
No.
What does it say on her jacket? I can't see there.
It's just a rose.
Oh, that's a rose in front of her body?
Kissed by a rose, right, Sam?
Well,
No.
But she decided to, for her wake, that she would be sitting at a table, like, drinking a beverage.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's now, though. They're dumb shades.
Right, I guess they're just trying to show that, people still do weird shit.
Do it.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that other guy wasn't dead. He's fucking paralyzed. They wanted a picture. Can you pull it down a little bit? They wanted a picture of their fucking bow-tied, lumpy family member who's in a wheelchair. So they're like, we're going to have to prop your dumb head up. And we'll tie you to the chair and prop your dumb fucking head up and snap a photo of you. That's it.
You would do this. You would do this.
I'd fuck him. I'd paint very funny photos. Like this guy right now would be holding like a gorilla dick in his hand.
I got a little more info on this from Cody in Indiana. He wouldn't do us wrong. Cody.
I don't like Cody. Welcome aboard, Cody.
What?
I said welcome aboard. Don't be so defensive. I'm saying welcoming you to the goddamn program. Ooh, someone's got a Mick Fleetwood Halls that he left over. Ooh.
Did you do some of Mick Fleetwood's coke?
Apparently.
What the hell happened to Jimmy?
The problem was I asked what kind of colognes were. They said he makes his own concoction, which means he didn't want to tell me.
Wow.
They just said it's a mix of stuff.
What is it? It smells great.
Cody. It didn't smell musty like Erock said.
I smelled that nigga. He smelled good.
Erock was off on the musty comment.
Yeah, but Erock was in the bathroom smelling his butthole. Erock likes the smell of a drummer's butthole because they sit.
Jeez.
Go ahead. Sorry, C to the O to the D to the Y. Go ahead.
What's up, Cody?
Sammy!
Back in the old-timey days when they had to take pictures of people, the exposure time was so long.
What happened?
Who gives a fuck about me anymore?
No, I'm teasing you, Cody. Go ahead.
The exposure time was so long, you had to sit still for your pictures. So you look at pictures, people are blurry. But when they would take pictures with dead people, the dead people were in perfect focus because they weren't moving.
How long did you have to sit still for a photo?
Well, that's why all those
I don't know, I wasn't there.
Well, the ability of the facts. I mean, was it 5 minutes or an hour?
I don't know.
That's why in those old pictures you see ghosts and stuff because, they're trying to get a street scene, let's say, and they got one or two people that are like, all right, stay still for the exposure time. Right. And then some asshole can't wait, so they walk through the fucking exposure time thing, and that makes these ghosts.
Yeah, all the military photos from 1800s.
Makes it look like there's ghosts in the picture, but those are actual people that didn't want to fucking wait any longer because they had to go to the post office.
That's why they say people never smiled back then.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't hold the smile that long.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Jimmy could hold a smile a long time.
Oh, my God.
First 46 years and counting now. I got this happy look plastered on my face, and it's genuine.
Even though he's crying inside.
That's right. Tears of a Clown, the name of my new CD. There's, I wanted to ask Lenny about something. Oh, fuck. I don't
Lenny
remember.
Marcus?
Yeah, I was just...
We didn't get to ask his question. What was the question again?
What'd you want to ask, Lenny?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. You're going to shit on me again.
No, that bit's over.
The documentary Sound City.
Yeah.
When they would,
Dave Grohl's thing. It's
Dave
fucking great.
Grohl's thing. When they would go, he fluked into meeting Lindsey Buckingham, and
I don't care. My jokes don't go over. I don't care.
I know.
He was in the next studio, and he just went in and walked past them, and like, who is that? And that's how they met.
Well, here's how you ask that, Lenny. You didn't ask that right, my friend. You got to do this. Mick, now, you're a drummer. Dave Grohl's a drummer. Now, you have the commonality of the drums. Would you say that inspired you when you watched the show? Or did you not feel the connection?
It's a different question. It's like you're going to break it to song, I think.
Yeah, very good, Lenny.
It's like you're going to toss the microphone and do Donkashade.
Yeah, Mick, come on. You got a cough, I see. Take care of that voice, buddy. He doesn't sing. Well, to harmonize, you big, tall motherfucker.
You.
He was a really...
Is he a good drummer? I don't even know.
Yes. Yeah,
is he right up there with some of the best, you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's looked at as an extremely competent, good drummer. The thing with him was, though, he said that people can't mimic his, because he's dyslexic, we didn't get to talk about that, was that everything he does is backwards. And he said, I forget who he was on tour with, Mick said he was very intimidated by this younger drummer, who he thought was better than him. And he said the guy was watching him every night, and Mick said I was hard to play in front of him because this kid was so fucking good.
Wow.
And I forget who the drummer is. It's a little drummer by the name of... I don't remember his name. And, but he said the guy came up to him and said, I cannot figure how you're doing this one fill, and I forget whatever the song was. I can't figure how you're doing it. And Mick said he couldn't explain it. He can never explain how he drums because he's dyslexic, so he doesn't know. Like, he'll try to tell somebody, and he just can't do it.
Ask the empty chair that...
You've been known to have, for lack of a better word, unorthodox methodology in coming to the final product, which nobody questions. How would you say you could explain the fills and the things of that nature that you do to other drummers if they were, in fact, listening and questioning this?
I'm staring at the chair like it's going to happen.
I hate the way you take pride in like the little nuances in your sentence.
Yeah, or an old dance. There's no... Shit, I'm pop walking. You can't see that. What nuances, Sam? Explain to me.
Just like the little words that you pipe in with, then you just chuckle to yourself afterwards.
I'm going to give this to him later and just say, here, look, you left your cough drop in the studio, Mick. I want to hand it to him. You left your cough drop in the studio.
Thank you, Jim. Cough drop.
Yes. Here, Mick, here's your cough drop. I didn't even... Like, when Billy Archer, he was like a tough kid. He was a couple years older than me. I remember when he asked me for a nickel one time, and I was so happy that he wasn't beating me up. And I'm like, you don't have to pay me back. I gave him a nickel.
Did you suck your dick?
No, he wasn't that kind of bully.
Oh.
And then Jim would ask him a question. When you were beating me up.
Would you say? He didn't beat me up, he just scared me.
You had different types of bullies. You had bullies that you had to suck their dick, and then other bullies that you didn't have to suck their dick.
That I wanted to, and they wouldn't let me. No, it was just, yeah.
That should be your next book. Bullies.
Bullies whose cocks have sucked. In alphabetical order and ethnicity.
All right, let's, why don't we wrap up?
All right. That's what I say before sex. Condom joke. I'm on fire at 10:35. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Who's that?
Who is that?
I don't know.
Let's see.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Doing some work. All right. Lenny Marcus, this was a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, Lenny.
Great first appearance. We'll have you back.
Excellent.
We'll work you into the schedule.
Thank you very much.
Pick up your schedule on the way out. You'll see
a blank page.
There's pretty much every comic in New York now doing the show.
That's right.
Which we appreciate.
Congratulations on the new show.
Our friends have come forward to help us out.
Of course, anytime you need me in a pinch, you know where I live.
Want to thank Mick Fleetwood. He was great too. His book's called Play On. Jimmy read most of it. I read excerpts, and what I read I really liked, but Jimmy really, really almost read the whole fucking thing and really enjoyed it.
I did.
So make sure you pick that up. And maybe the Mick Fleetwood hug later on one of my things.
Yeah, and tomorrow we got Dan Soder and Mike Tyson is here, so I'll try to hug Mike. But that won't be any, Mike's just...
You got a shadow box. A little shadow box.
I met him when we were like 20. I don't think he'll remember me. Yep. I met him the fight before he was a champ.
How would he remember you?
How the fuck did that happen?
Of course he won't remember you.
Of course he won't, but I have a thing. Could you autograph? I have a huge thing that could be autographed.
What is it?
It's like him against Spinks. This huge. I don't know. You didn't tell me that you can have Tyson.
He'll sign it.
Okay.
You come in here with some of these stories.
I have great stories. You wanted to talk about the Jets.
That is true. What story is that, though? I would say you met him the fight before he beat
How did that happen?
Michael Spinks.
No, I don't think that was the fight that made him the champ.
Yes, it was.
It was?
Oh, no, he had other belts before.
There was one more.
Trevor Burbick.
It was Burbick.
It was right before he beat Burbick.
Trevor Burbick. I always thought the guy was called.
Which was also Ali's last fight was Trevor Burbick.
Yes, it was.
Do you have time for a story or no?
Yeah, just
sure,
go ahead.
You might as well.
Now that you want to fucking leave. Next time.
5 after 11.
Right,
Boxing Tales with Lenny Marcus.
Go
right ahead.
Fuck you.
Forget it.
You're at the factory, and then Lenny has a fucking story finally to tell.
Well, that's not
2 minutes to 5.
Not Lenny's fault because we did start him on football. Well, actually, I didn't. But
we certainly want to hear this.
All right, go ahead, Len, quick. What happened? But the Tyson fight box go.
Mike Tyson is from where?
He's from Catskill,
correct, which is right next to
Pocono.
Remember what I said earlier where I went to school?
I know where it is. Beautiful Mount Airy Lodge.
How close to the Albany campus?
Very close. See, he would frequent the Albany campus looking for co-eds. Because he was 19, yeah.
Whoa.
So there was always Mike Tyson spottings. Now everybody watched every Mike Tyson fight. So I was at a Kentucky Fried Chicken before my senior year, getting chicken, and Mike Tyson just happened to be there, and with his entourage.
Why did he happen to be there?
He just happened to be there. I don't know.
What are you trying to say?
I like chicken.
Those people like
he
chicken.
Liked chicken.
That's
all I'm
Lenny the
saying.
racist.
Great. Lenny the
I
racist.
love chicken.
Yes,
So
what happened?
His whole entourage was there, and then I spotted him, and I wanted an autograph from Mike Tyson because I knew he was going to be heavyweight champ of the world. So I took a Mike Tyson, did you like the food? I mean, Mike Tyson, my Kentucky Fried Chicken, did you like the food card, and a pen and very quietly, as the whitest, smallest 21-year-old walked up to this man and stopped the entourage cold and said, "Excuse me, are you Mike Tyson?" And shaking, and he looked up at me and said, "Look like the motherfucker, don't I?" And I said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, you do. Can I have your autograph, champ?" And he goes, $2. Right? And so as I'm pulling the $2 out of my pocket, he goes, "I'm just kidding." And he signed my autograph.
I don't like the fact that you're making Mike sound gay. Mike had a bit of a list, but no, you're like, "I just kidding." No. That's when you got Liberace's autograph. Mike is like, I'm just kidding. He has a little list, but he doesn't sound fucking.
Let me just say this: if I come back and tell him that story tomorrow, to be like, he was like, "Yeah, $2.
Yo, $2.
$2. That's how I would do his.
But Lenny's hand went up. Like, just kidding. That's great. I got Paul Lynde's autograph. The fucking Hollywood.
There you go. So
he's good friends with Michael Anthony Hall too.
Thank you.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Well, we're excited. We haven't seen Tyson in a bit since his that movie premiere he invited us to.
I've seen him since then.
Whoa, good for you.
Yeah.
Because someone is
on my
a little
show.
closer to Tyson than
He was
the
on my
rest of us.
show. I saw him in June.
Oh, I forgot. On the Vice show.
Yeah, he was on my show.
I forgot about that. Are you doing more Vice shows?
They say they want to. They're just very slow moving because they have so much stuff happening.
Right.
But we've gotten confirmations.
Oh, good.
That they absolutely want to do more, and I'm just getting.
Did you say my bit?
What's that?
Oh boy, that means no.
I know what you said.
Oh boy, Lenny, you heard
What?
it.
What did you say?
Sting.
I said, did you say my bit?
Oh, I think you said, "Did you see my bit? Did I save your bit?" Oh no.
We have another guest tomorrow.
Who?
The Iron Sheik is scheduled to be here tomorrow.
Oh, nice. He rules. Is he going to be like kind of fun Iron Sheik, or we have to listen?
Oh, he's probably gonna put that roast.
Yeah, he's got a roast on Thursday.
All right, he'll.
Yeah, I turned that down.
He'll be fun then.
Why'd you turn it down?
I'm taping something.
Whoa.
Oh, what are you taping? What are you taping that's more important than the Iron Sheik
Bunch
roast?
of posters on the wall. Wordplay humor.
In honor of Fleetwood Mac Day, we're going to play "Landslide" by Billy Corgan.
Okay.
All right.
But that's not. But he's not a member of.
I know.
Fucking Fleetwood Millie.
He made this song fucking even bigger than it was. Lenny Marcus, thank you so much.
You got it.
Have a good day, people.
Oh, I gotta plug something.
And what?
My website, all of my dates are up. Harrisburg is up. Fucking Nashville is up. Seattle's on sale. 'Cause I'm shooting my special in January 17th, so I'm leading up to that. The Brokerage in Long Island is my last weekend before I go up there.
Can't wait to go to Boston and check this out.
Yeah,
It's
the
got to be
material's
sold
ready.
out, right?
Yes, it's sold out like 25. The only thing that we released, they gave me like 38 comps or whatever it was, so we released all but like 5. So you might be able to get a couple of pairs or just singles are available.
Okay.
But they always give you too many fucking comps.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow there.
Go ahead,
Thank you. Nice. Good morning, everybody. That's Aaron Lewis of Stain doing Pearl Jam, actually, Black, with Aaron Lewis in the news with that national anthem yesterday, getting a bit of hate and all that shit. I decided, fuck, let's show the people what Aaron Lewis can do, man, when he just sits down with an acoustic guitar.
Oh, he has a voice like an angel.
Are you a fan or not so much?
I'm not a fan or a non-fan. I don't really listen to him. No,
I
don't like anything of him.
love his voice, and he has no problem doing covers when he goes out and does his solo thing. So there you have it. How are you, Jimmy?
I'm okay. Okay.
Uh-oh. What's going on? Everything all right?
No, not bad. Just another fucking... I watched the game last night, and I turned it on late when it was tied. You know,
Yeah.
'cause I was I had a benefit for blind people to do yesterday.
Oh, how did that go?
It's terrific. I mean, they were looking. I almost said they were all looking the wrong way, but then I realized what a dumb joke that would have been.
What, was the audience blind?
No, a couple of them were.
Just
though.
a few, though.
And I showed up for an 8:30 show at 7 p.m. because I thought it was a fucking. I went on Gotham's website, and it said 7 o'clock, but that was for the. You know, you go downstairs. There's like a little VIP, like snacks and all that shit in an auction. So I walk in at 7 o'clock and I'm homicidal because I had 90 minutes to kill on 23rd Street.
Right.
So I just went and got something to eat and then went back and did the show, and it was rather delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, small crowd, but they were lovely.
Yeah, you don't like being early for anything.
Fucking 90 minutes early, dude.
You like to slide in just in time and get on that stage, do your thing, and get the hell out of there.
So I went home and wound up watching some of the game, and I couldn't sleep afterwards. That's why I wish I still didn't watch football. Because it ruins my night.
Well, your team is going to lose a few. No,
I know that, but it ruins it when it happens. I can't stand it, and I know it's going to happen when it happens. And like I told you last week when I went up I was out to dinner and I went out and I started looking at the bar for the game. And I'm like, sucker.
You're getting hooked again.
I had years away from this. Years away from it.
Well, you should follow the Jets. Then it makes it very easy. You don't have to look up at any TVs anytime soon.
Well, that's Jet fans. You guys really. Every one of you should just walk away from them. I don't know why. I mean, the Cowboys have stunk for a long time, but at least they've done some good shit.
They got a good year going. I mean, the Redskins beat them in overtime last night, if you're just waking up. A field
2017,
goal?
Yeah.
Was it a field goal?
Yep.
And then in overtime, if the team that gets the ball first kicks a field goal, then the other team does get one
Dallas
shot, right?
got one, yeah. Went 4 downs, and they just couldn't get anything done.
Yeah.
But, Roman went out for a little while. He hurt his back.
He was out for most of the second half, I heard on the way in today.
But that's not surprising to it's a division rivalry. Everyone had picked Dallas, but it's like, Dallas, no matter how good the Redskins were, the Cowboys would always win at RFK. It was just one of those things where,
right.
They're just division rivals. So
all right.
That was my fucking fascinating night.
I was studying up on Mick Fleetwood and Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by this band now. I've always heard the stories over the years, but to really dig in and try to get ready for the interview, wow, what a fucked up band, man. You had 2 married couples, and Mick Fleetwood was married to someone outside the band, and then all their relationships break up, and they decide to stay together as a band, and then they write their greatest stuff ever, the Rumors LP, based on all the shit that was going on behind the scenes in their relationships. That ends up selling like 50 million copies, and then the band decides, we got to stay together for the music, even though they fucking hate each other, and that's what they did for many, 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 many years. And they were touring without talking to each other. They had separate cars that brought them to the gigs. They had separate green rooms. They on planes, when they had to be on the same plane, they made sure they sat as far away from each other as possible. There's anger in their faces when you see old clips of Fleetwood Mac performing, and that is based on the fact they just did not like each other whatsoever for a long, long time. I saw an interview, I think it was with Stevie Nicks, and she said that, I wrote it down actually, that there was no communication whatsoever for years. So not even a little bit. So how do you keep the band going under those circumstances?
Well, I don't understand how you collaborate creatively. Like, how the fuck do you come up with? I know he said when they were doing Rumors, it was really they were all so kind of splintered that nobody wanted to show their song lyrics.
Right. Well, she was probably trying to protect his money a little bit until he figured his shit out. That's what that sounds like. Wow.
I mean, it was exciting at first. We were like, wow, Fleetwood Mac guy. But then, he was like, you know what? He's here again. Let's go.
Right.
Did he die? Is he dead?
No, not that I know of.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, the early days of Fleetwood Mac, it's unrecognizable as far as what the band became. That's what I find strange as well. So, all right. Thank you, Tony.
No problem.
All right, buddy. Hung out with one of the Fleetwood Mac guys who was a bum.
Yeah.
The early guys.
In the 60s. So many people got mad at me because I talked about acid yesterday.
Why?
Saying that it can fuck you up. You don't know what you're talking about with acid, dude. Shut up.
We didn't really say we knew.
God.
I basically said I was just always scared of it. And one guy's like, look, I've been doing it for 20 years. If you want to do it, you should look me up. I'll give you a nice trip. I'm like, nah, I'm old with kids. No, I'm not going to do an acid thing.
You should know what you're talking about before you talk about acid. Shut up.
But what do they hear out there?
I don't know.
We didn't say we were experts. We both said it's something that always scared us.
I'm a fucking comedian who dropped out of high school. I didn't claim to go to medical school.
Right. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it is safe. I don't know. But maybe if you got some weird mental shit kind of buried in your head, maybe the acid pulls it front and center.
It's like no matter what you say, people want to be disagreeable. Acid can fuck you up. I'm sure with most people it doesn't. It can, though.
Right.
You know what you're talking about. Shut up, asshole. God almighty. Fucking dicks.
Peter Green wrote Black Magic Woman?
Yeah.
Really?
And Santana had him at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction to play it, and Peter Green didn't want to do it. He's just a fucking...
He didn't want to do it?
No, he did it, but he didn't give him what he wanted because he's already played it.
Right.
Like when they were rehearsing, I think Mick Fleetwood, he said to Mick Fleetwood, like, why would I want to do that? I've already done it. He's just a fucking... Another nut. Another fucking mentally ill nut.
That you just have to deal with in your life.
Fucking ass.
Tom, so he wrote Black Magic Woman. Is there a version, his version out there?
Yeah, there is. It's on one of their earlier records.
Okay.
The other fascinating thing about that band is it's the first 3-guitar lineup.
Right. I did know that, yes.
Which is kind of cool. But they said that Peter Green went to a party in Germany, and when he came back from that, that's when he did all that acid. He did like a week of just acid. He came back, he was never the same.
Yeah, kind of like a Sid Barrett type of situation. Yeah. It seems a little similar to that.
No, but it wasn't the acid. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right. All right. All right. Thank you, Tom. All right. Let me hear this. Peter Green, Black Magic Woman. I think I knew this. All right. Peter Green used to be in Fleetwood Mac and lost his mind or something. And then the band said, "Well, see you later. We're gonna go and write rumors in a few years and forget all about you."
Exactly.
Oh, there it is. Carlos Santana, Peter Green, Black Magic Woman. Hold on. You really don't like this?
It's all right.
I like Santana,
but I just don't like.
I don't go deep in Santana, but some of the stuff I listen to.
I understand he's a good player and he's quite popular. God bless him. Enough with him already. What was the other big one? What was one of his big dumb songs?
Oi, come voir.
Oh.
Maybe not. You don't like Oi, come voir?
No, I don't.
Jimmy, are you doing all right? You seem a little down lately. I don't think Jimmy's down lately.
Who's this?
Some guy just showing a little concern. Chris in Connecticut.
Oh, Chris, hello.
Hey, Denny. No, you know what? You've been talking a lot about how you've been like a little lonely and shit, and you're thinking about getting into a relationship, and this morning you sounded a little down. I don't know. I'm a little worried about you, buddy.
Oh, I'm okay, Chris. Thank you very much. I'm fine. Yeah, the relationship thing is just like, I'm at a point now where it's been a few years. There's certain things I miss about it. Like, it's not necessarily sex. That's pretty easy to find if you want that. But that stuff where you're just taking a flight with somebody and you're hanging out with them and going to the airport, like that little dumb shit you do in
companionship.
As a couple. Yeah, and
you want to hold someone's hand.
Kind of, yeah. It's because you want to be. All my friends are married now, or have girlfriends. Fucking you, Sam and fucking Erock are married. You know,
that's the most to me.
Meaning you guys are younger than me and came up behind me.
They're not that young
both,
anymore.
And he goes, it was the first time I saw him in a long time because he went, like, I guess he got locked up in a mental institution. This is years after he left the band for pulling a fucking pistol on their road manager, demanding that he stop sending royalty checks. Like, Pete Green was getting these royalty checks and he didn't want to cash them, so he fucking put a gun on the guy and said, "Don't send me these checks."
He just didn't like money.
He was what a psychopath.
And they said that he's another rock guy that went and did some acid and came back a different guy.
Yeah.
So, and then he told the band, "Look, I want to do this. I want to do this for charity. I don't want any of you guys taking money."
What kind of mental illness is that, though? Like, I get like hoarding money and being cheap and fucking hoarding, saving it. What is it that when you just give all your shit away and you're repelled by money? What the fuck is wrong with people?
I don't know.
Asshole.
Whatever happened to Petey Green?
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. I think he died young. He said, but I don't want to. I literally am probably about. 80% through, and I almost didn't want to look it up because I like to. Selfishly, I should have for the interview, though.
Right.
But I don't know.
We could ask him.
To him? Sam?
We could definitely ask him.
Yeah, he's probably dead. I think he died of a disease.
That's the other Petey Green.
Oh, not the watermelon eating guy, the radio guy.
Maybe it's just Pete Green.
Peter.
Or Peter Green, yeah. Yeah. Petey Green is, he's that crazy.
No, not this guy.
It's Pete Green, right?
Guitarist. Put Peter Green guitarist before I burn you with fucking hot coffee.
Or just put Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah. Yeah, put Pete Green, Fleetwood Mac, acid, left band, money. Just Google that.
There you go. There he is. Whatever happened. He's still alive? Come on.
Oh, good. I'm actually glad to hear he's still
He's
alive.
67 years old, living in London.
Oh, good. I'm glad he's still alive. I was obsessed with what happened to him, and I just...
How's he paying his cable bill if he doesn't believe in money? The cable company's not going to listen to you.
You wonder if all of a sudden that mental illness gets cured. Do you look back and go, wait, where's my fucking money?
Right.
There's fucking $80 million coming to me.
Yeah, he should be a multimillionaire.
And another one of these fucking guys, he's surrounded himself with selfish, unless he's just a gentleman and not telling everything, but like, I'm reading and I'm like, maybe he's just making himself look better, but I'm like, what a bunch of selfish motherfuckers this guy was surrounded by.
Yeah.
The one guy left to join a cult, like before a gig.
Right.
He goes out in LA to go buy something, and he just doesn't show up, and then they cancel the show.
Yeah, he just leaves and joins the Children of God or
some shitty Jesus cult.
What, some kind of cult. And then another guy left, too. There was a third band member that kind of went cuckoo or just left under weird circumstances.
Oh, that was after a violent episode.
I didn't write it down. I'm trying to remember. I think it was backstage. He locked himself in a bathroom or something. I got to go back and get that straight, but whatever. So it was fun. It was fun kind of just studying up on Fleetwood Mac last night. And then playing a few of their songs.
No, I was very weird to read about a group you don't care about at all. Like, and to kind of like, I knew the names, like a couple of those names, but I had no idea about any of their history.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of nice. Usually you know something going in, but I had no idea about any of this shit.
I mean, a lot of bands are dysfunctional, but this one might be the worst ever.
No, but I just like learning. And I just think that learning about this band was so much fun. To start from ground zero and just kind of build up my knowledge.
Stones dysfunctional, the Beatles dysfunctional. Who else were we talking about recently? Oh, Aerosmith, Kiss, certainly.
Every band. It seems like every band is a fucking mess.
Well, Mick Fleetwood, he's the manager of the band for 10 years, and then they just fire him, and he's okay with that.
Yeah, they all got their individual managers, and he said he kind of understood, I guess.
I used to hang with one of the guys from Fleetwood Mac. He was a bum.
Oh, Stevie Nicks, you're on the phone.
Wait, maybe this is...
Pete Green?
Let me see.
I'm just yelling names. The first one bombed, the second one's going to.
Tony in Manhattan. Tony.
Yeah. It was a guy, Danny Carlin. He was in a band, one of the guitarists.
Oh, yeah.
And he lived in a homeless shelter across the street where we used to drink in London. And he used to come in every day for free drinks, you know.
And he was in the early days of Fleetwood Mac. Which one was he?
Danny Carlin.
Yeah. How did he leave the band? That's the third guy.
Did they fire him or did he leave?
He left. And you know what? I think it was a bit of both. I think maybe they fired him, but he was an absolute wacko. And his mother was getting all of his royalty checks, and she wouldn't let him have anything, you know?
Like they would all write their stuff and be very protective of it. So that's, I guess, how it was hard for them to collaborate. They didn't want to take out their shit, and because there were two couples writing about each other basically.
But it's one of the greatest LPs of all time as far as sales go.
Yeah.
So how do you do that if you're protecting your songs? That's what I want to ask Mick Fleetwood. Did they hand him into a third party that could just kind of control the situation?
No, they didn't. They just he was kind of like the daddy of the band. Just him and two couples who were quarreling.
Right.
Ugh. How fucking horrible is that?
And then he's quarreling with his wife that's not part of the band. And then let's see.
Who's George Harrison's he was George Harrison's brother-in-law for a while, I guess, right? Is that what their relationship was?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mick Fleetwood's wife at the time was the sister of Patty Boyd, who was married to George Harrison and Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So the couples break up. Then Mick Fleetwood and Stevie Nicks start having an affair. Basically, it started, they were at a party and they were the last two left. So they were just kind of talking about relationships, this and that. And then they did some of that fucking. And then they had an affair. And then Mick Fleetwood breaks Stevie Nicks' heart to go out with Stevie Nicks' best friend, Sarah. So then fucking Stevie Nicks goes, oh, really? And writes a song, Sarah, that becomes a huge fucking song for the band. What a weird band.
Yeah, he talks about Stevie Nicks early, and there was some shit about, and I'm not even a Fleetwood Mac fan. That's the amazing thing about this. I'd never give a fuck about Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put this book down just to watch all this dysfunction and the fact that they were doing coke on stage in between songs.
Amazing.
The lights would dim and the road manager would come out with bottle caps of coke.
Amazing.
And he's such a proper English gentleman.
Right.
Like when you read the book, he uses He's like, he uses words like tawdry and bawdy to describe their humor. We use really bawdy humor. Real proper Englishman, but he's doing fucking blowing between songs.
And they just said I guess Mick Fleetwood said that they did an ungodly amount of cocaine, just ridiculous amount, to the point Stevie Nicks has a hole in her nose, and she was told if one more line of cocaine could basically kill her, because it could break through more of the membrane and go right to her brain, and she would just die. So that's why I want to know.
Oh, the asshole blowing
is true.
Sure.
Because it is true that she did so much coke, she put a hole in her nose. And doctors said they could fix that for her, and she's like, no, my voice has changed slightly, and I don't want to fuck with it, because I don't know what that's going to do to my voice if they plug up that hole that's in my nasal cavity or whatever the fuck. I don't know where the hole goes.
I don't either.
When you're doing so much coke, where is the hole?
Is it between the two sinuses, or is it maybe
further
it goes
back?
to the top?
I don't know. I kind of want to know.
You could tell early on, though, that they were probably going to wind up fucking. Because, again, I knew nothing about their history. And the way he talked about her, like, I felt like we knew each other in a previous life. Oh, boy.
right. That, girls love hearing that.
Oh, fucking right in. Just take your dick out when you say that.
I think Stevie Nicks said that Mick Fleetwood was the love of her life.
Oh, really?
I don't know, man. It seems like I was watching a lot of Stevie Nicks interviews last night. It seems like she might have a few issues.
He's got to be all cock. He's 6'6".
Right.
You have to. You're that tall. You got to be fucking all dick.
Yeah, he seems pretty confident. So
yeah,
we'll have a good time at Mick Fleetwood. That's for sure.
He's a dyslexic drummer, which I think is a very odd thing. Just reading about the dyslexia and how like everyone has a pattern. Drummers have these weird, but he does everything completely the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they said drummers have a hard time figuring out.
Yeah, he's definitely a good drummer. I like that tusk.
Yeah, I just like it because it tortures my manager.
I really like that tusk drum beat.
Yeah.
And the other fascinating thing about Mick Fleetwood, the five that we know very well, which would be the McVies, Christy and John McVie, Mick Fleetwood, Stevie Nicks, and Lindsey Buckingham. That's the lineup most people absolutely know and love. But that's the 10th version of the lineup. They had 10 versions of this lineup in Fleetwood Mac. And the early years of Fleetwood Mac, it was a completely different band with this guy, Petey Green, who they say is the greatest blues musician ever in England. And he was the one you were talking about yesterday who just became a weirdo.
Who just didn't want... There was one thing where Mick Fleetwood said he saw him when near as good looking as I am. But no, and Bobby's got a baby, and thank God for fucking Carlin. And he's in a relationship, so...
Right.
Oh, God, do I hope... I know if Colin has kids, I'm finished. He's the last holdout.
You think Colin Quinn will have kids someday?
I don't know. I don't even know if he wants them, but he's the last... If he gets married or has kids, I'm just finished.
But it's not like we're all in our 30s. I mean, it was...
No!
This is what kind of life does to you.
I kind of resigned myself to the fact that Colin was an aging queen. I just figured he was a gay guy who didn't know he was gay. He's got a real girlfriend.
That's what life does to you. Pretty much, you get to this age, most of the people that you're around are married with kids.
Florentine?
Right.
Just like...
It just happens.
Vinny Brand I've known since I started. He's always been married with kids. When you know guys and they're married with kids from the beginning, it's fine. But when you watch everyone you know...
Slowly but surely get married and have a kid or whatever.
Yeah. So I kind of want to... It's not that I'm desperate for one, but I'm kind of like, holidays are coming up. It's kind of nice to have to buy shit for someone. But how many times can you come back from the gym and just sit there and go, all right, I'll watch Boardwalk Empire? Or I have a lot of time on my hands, and you realize, like, yeah, you can get bored having a lot of fucking time on your hands. I groom myself, obviously, and obsessed with my own physical presence.
Yeah, that's why you didn't go to breakfast with me and Bob Saget yesterday.
Yeah.
The gym was more important than having some breakfast with Mr. Saget.
Yes.
Well, why wouldn't you use that opportunity to push your gym appointment back, and then you could have some social time with friends, and
I
go
could
to
do
the
that.
gym
You
after.
probably should have went to breakfast with us yesterday and try to
because
figure
it
out
would
the
have been
gym
too
thing.
last minute, honestly, and I would have had to do it too last minute. If I had remembered a few days before instead of the day before, I would have switched my appointment. But it's also, I'm so too tired to work out late in the afternoon, man. I'm fucking wiped out.
Yeah.
So if I just make myself go at 11, or 11:50.
Oh, Pat in Atlanta. Whole lot of minutes. Thank you, Chris. Let me go to Atlanta.
Thank you, Chris.
Pat, go ahead. Oh my God, go ahead.
Hey, Jimmy, I love you, buddy, but even Honey Boo Boo's mother has somebody.
That's a good point. She really does.
Oh, and you know the story there, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
I kind of like her more now that I see that a good dickin' takes priority over everything for this one.
And this guy, I guess, molested her daughter?
He went to jail for it.
He went to jail for molesting Honey.
He was in, I
didn't know it was her.
Other Honey Boo Boo's mother's other daughter, the one that had the kid, I think, on the show when I was still watching.
I don't know. I didn't watch the show, but the older daughter.
Yeah. Oh man, you're brutal, Pat. Yeah, but he's a sex offender, and they yanked that show quickly.
Is she actually back with this guy? What a fucking pig!
Apparently, she was because Honey Boo Boo has a different father, or she was seeing somebody else. While
there's a few different,
but
a couple different fathers in there. At least
she was cheating on him,
right,
with the guy who I guess they say molested her other daughter.
You know how well he must. You know how well you have to fuck to molest someone's daughter, and then they wait for you after you go to prison for molesting their daughter. I'm sure the guy's a lousy guy, but man, he really knows how to lay some pipe. He really knows how to fuck a fat woman.
What show is that on? TLC?
Yeah.
So what? TLC yanks the show. How are they surprised by this? This is exactly what you assume is going on in that family. Yeah, just weird fucking redneck shit.
That's why Duck Dynasty.
Now I just made fun of all the rednecks.
Pedophilia will get you yanked.
Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. But you know what I'm saying. You see that family, you know some weird shit has to be going on.
Pedophilia
when the cameras are off
will get you yanked. That will get you yanked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
pedophilia is a rough one. No one wants to go near fucking kid touchers.
No.
That's why Duck Dynasty works, because it's fake rednecks. Like, it's fake white trash.
Oh, those guys are all multimillionaires.
Right. Like, Honey Boo Boo is like real white trash.
So can you be a redneck and be a millionaire?
Of course.
Is the question.
I mean, you could take on redneck characteristics.
But most rednecks are not millionaires?
No. Okay. And, I mean, they've been rich for a long time, and they used to have jock haircuts and wear Letterman's jackets and stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you know what I've been doing a lot lately? Having dinner with friends. I have been. I've been having a lot of dinner with friends.
Is it nice?
It is nice, yeah. I have a lot of meals with my friends. Especially, I don't. Thank you for Chris's call. But I'm not looking at the legend of fucking.
You seem pretty happy lately, actually.
I'm just kind of like,
it's something you're thinking about. Something that's